Hello, hello, hello. This is a totally unprepared and unplanned live, so I just figure jump back into it. It's gotta happen at some point. Well, I guess it doesn't have to happen at some point, but it is happening at some point, and that point is now. Um, Hopefully somebody will see this going on and come in here. But I guess I can just ramble onto myself as well. That's fine. Um, I wanted to talk about the bullet. Um, it is something like sleuth intuition is always like, if you can dispute the bullet, then he'll think about um, reconsidering, I guess, the whole case, which I don't think he really will. But it is kind of like what allowed them to arrest Richard Allen in the first place. And I think it's just very overall like not understood whether this is good evidence, not good evidence, scientific, not scientific. And yes, there is precedence for it, but that doesn't mean that it's good evidence at all. Like, just because it's been allowed to be used before doesn't mean they should continue using it. And pretty much every case that you talk about is going to be just like regular ballistics on a fired round. And so, like, when you have a gun and you fire a round, it creates like a force and that presses the metal like against the walls of the gun. And guns have like rifling inside, which causes the bullet to spin and it helps it be more accurate when you shoot it. Also, I'm not an expert on this at all, but I've like looked into it quite a bit. And so I feel confident that I probably know more than some people. And I just realized I spelled the title wrong of this live. So we're off to an excellent start. And if anybody would like to start commenting, that would probably help me feel a little bit better about this, but whatever. I don't really care. Okay. So let's see. So the reason I'm even like bringing this up is because they are getting ready to file the appeal, and they said there's like 9 or 10 things that they're appealing with, and they put them into buckets. And we don't actually have the appeal, we just have them requesting to have like more time and more room to adequately state their case for Richard Allen. And so it sounds like there's quite a bit for them to appeal on, which doesn't surprise me because I feel like the defense was kind of like setting that up the entire time that they were trying the case. I think they kind of knew that it was a possibility that they were going to lose, and that the way certain things were handled in the case made it, I'm not going to say like likely that his appeal will be granted, but I would say more likely than just a regular case, like any other case. And so let's see. So Allen was convicted of murdering 13-year-old Abigail Williams and 14-year-old Liberty German, who were found on February 14th, 2017, near a trail by the Monon High Bridge in Delphi, Indiana. And one of the key pieces of evidence was the unspent .40 caliber bullet found between the victims' bodies and matched, quote unquote, ballistically to a pistol owned by Allen. They also had circumstantial evidence, like surveillance video apparently placed a car belonging to Allen near the trail on that day. Multiple witnesses claimed to have seen someone resembling him, but actually they said Bridge Guy, but we'll assume they're both the same person. And it was like around the time of their disappearance. He also had jailhouse confessions. And so I think those are pretty much like their main case against Richard Allen. And I think the bullet is definitely like what got them the search warrant into Allen's house. So the process of releasing exhibits has been slow and restricted. And like it's been a constant fight to just get what they saw in court to be able to even look at it. And so in reading over the testimony of Melissa Oberg, who was the ballistics expert, it went on for quite a long time and it was pretty boring. And so I figured I could maybe explain some of it to y'all, and we can look at why I don't think that's good evidence at all, not even a little bit. And so, let's see. I should probably like maybe pull up the pictures for it too, huh? Maybe I should ask Cryptex to come on here with me, or anybody I could talk to, because this is feeling rough. I don't really care though, because the only person you can depend on is yourself, and so that's what we're gonna do. No plan, no support, just raw dogging it. Okay. See if we can get the right tab at least and share some fucking type of thing for y'all to look at. You imaginary people that aren't even actually in here. Maybe I should just end it and then end my life. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, that one, and then I just need to share it. I have too many tabs open, so it's kind of hard to share a tab, but I will succeed in this. And if it all goes to shit, I can just erase it anyways, right? Yeah, so who cares? Share screen. Yes. And then we will share. How about... Yeah, I probably should have prepared this better, but this is life, you know? I've just been not wanting to do it and avoiding it, so bite the bullet. Plus, All Eyes gave me a little tip to if DB is anywhere in the area to get him to come on. So hopefully I can try out her little trick that she gave me to get him to come on. Because DB is who I bug all the time. Well, not all the time, but I do ask him questions about the bullet because he's a pretty smart guy. Why? Okay, we're going to share this one just to get something on here. Ta-da! Then we can share, sorry, for the dead silence and no plan whatsoever. I don't even know if y'all can hear me. And by y'all, I mean literally nobody. So this is fun. Are we having fun, guys? Oh yeah, what do I tell Shibby all the time? F mother fudging 4. See if we could do this without messing up the stream. No, we can't because this is... Oh yeah, maybe. Hold on, I can do this. I'm smart. No, but that's not what I want. Okay. Shift F4. No, not really. Okay, that's fine. Fine, I didn't really want to. Control F. Control F. Oh, fuck yes. Dude, all eyes, you're saving my life. You are so organized. Ballistics. If I could spell that, would be cool too, huh? Come on. Oh, bullet. Let's see. Right here. Okay. I will figure this out, guys. I apologize. Thus is my life. You know what I mean? No, I want the transcript. Okay. I don't know. I'm lost. I'm lost. Yay! Thank you, Biachinator. Biachinator. All right. Hell yeah. I don't know who you are, but I'll drop the link if you want to come up here with me, because that would be amazing. Anybody at all can just come up here and save me. Copy, paste. I probably should have like bugged somebody and found somebody to come on here with me, but that would have required like having friends, and I don't have any. So here we are. Here we are. Yay, USA Libertarian. Fancy meeting you here. I dropped the link. You should totally click on it. It'd be helpful. I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. It's been forever for one, and for two, I'm usually like have other people around me that help me out in different ways, but I don't anymore, so I could do it. Okay, so for one, the ballistics is bad evidence because they were not shot. Um, there's not really any evidence that a gun was even used in this crime except for allegedly hearing a gun cock, which in and of itself is poor evidence. My friend actually got killed because he was running from the police and a gate shut behind him and they heard that click from the gate thing going down and they shot him and he did not have a weapon. And so, you know, it could be some other logical explanation for that sound. But it was between the bodies. And so, like, I can see where they would say this is relevant to this crime. I'm not going to dispute that. But let's see. So they never found the murder weapon, which is interesting. And then also, if like, I don't know if they're trying to say Richard Allen didn't know that he lost a round, but like if he cocked it, he should have known that it flew off. But I was talking to DB, and like if you were gonna have a handgun that you carried on a trail for self protection, like a Sig Sauer would be possibly a good weapon to bring along. And I think he did say something about bringing it along when he went fishing. So let's just say he happened to have it on him for protection on the trail, which, seeing what happened, that is not a bad idea. And you never know. There's weirdos, there's animals, whatever. Yay. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Let's get
Hi,
this
how are
stupid
you?
bullet stuff over with. Hi, how are you?
The stupid bullet stuff.
Yeah, let's get this dumb bullet thing over with.
So the bullet is something that consistently bothers me because I feel like people say, "Oh, ballistics have been used in court plenty of times," but this isn't that. Like, this isn't really ballistics. It's missing like a lot of the key aspects of ballistics.
Well, technically, they call it tool mark analysis. So
Yes.
it's literally not ballistics at
Um,
all. So ballistics is firing a projectile.
Right. And then that like requires force and like it causes striated marks on the bullet. And so, but even that is based on shoddy science, in my opinion. But tool mark analysis is even worse than that.
I agree. I don't think it's a science. It's not
No,
a science.
it isn't.
To be a science, you would test witnesses against statistically significant samples, and it would not be an expert looking at a few pictures and expressing an opinion.
Well, you know what expert would have actually been a credible witness on the bullet that was found would be the metallurgist. I don't even know how to say it, but that metal guy, he actually would have had some valid input on the bullet that they found, but he was not allowed to testify. So that's weird.
So the loophole that Gull used for that was that he was going to criticize the science in general. And I'm not a lawyer, but since he did not have specific opinions about this bullet and the data that he had, Gull didn't allow it because by custom or whatever, they accept the science, the
Well,
quote
but
unquote
like
science.
I think that that is kind of a wild thing for her to like. She wanted them to have their own counter expert on ballistics, right? The ballistics or the tool mark analysis, which, like, if you are arguing the science of it, why would you get like? It's just why would you get an expert if you don't think that that's a valid way to look at that bullet? You know what I mean?
Right. So it's a recurring theme that Gull did not allow them to present their evidence. She only allowed them to tepidly critique the state's evidence, if even that.
Yeah. Do you think this is one of the things that's going to come up in the appeal?
The trouble with the appeal is going to be that you can't prove that the jury decided the case based on the bullet toolmark expert opinion. So, um, let's say, uh, again, not a lawyer, but there's so many little things that when you add them up, it's obviously an unfair trial, but no single thing is going to be considered egregious enough
Do you
to
think
really
that
overturn it.
do you think it is egregious enough that that they used that bullet basically to get the search warrant against Allen, and so if not for that, then the whole case kind of falls apart after that, or no, it's just what happened in trial, huh?
So there's a lot of flaws in our system, and one of them is, well, the expert thought it was his bullet, and the cops get to believe the expert, even if we don't really believe that they believed the expert, and the expert didn't really believe that.
I actually
And then
do. I
the
actually do
judge gets
believe.
to.
I believe that Jerry Holman actually did believe the expert, but that's a different case, I guess.
Um, maybe. I don't think he thought it was the same as a paternity DNA test.
Yeah,
How could you? How could anyone believe that?
he's
If
kind
that's
of
the
dumb
case,
though.
there's a lot
He's
of
like,
DNA tests that need to be looked at.
yeah, yeah, um, yeah, that's true. Plus, I think it said like during the whole investigation that they had like a very small amount of firearms that they actually tested against it, and so like that's another thing to me that says it wasn't uh DNA
Well,
like evidence.
the other thing that people keep talking past is she did not rule out any of the other firearms. So basically, the evidentiary value of that bullet is that it matches the caliber of a gun that Richard Allen and dozens of other people in the area own. Because when she said it's a match, they were all a match because she didn't rule any of them out.
Well, the thing is, she did rule out Brad Weber's gun, whichever one that was. I don't know which one it was, but it's implied in the testimony that one of them was Brad Weber's gun, and that she didn't rule it out until she had Richard Allen's um, gun, and then she felt confident enough to rule it out after that, which is
Pretty
weird.
convenient.
Yeah.
Once they have the target, their preferred target, then all the other ones, well, the other obvious potential target gets ruled out.
So, do you think that
It
witness
would be
that
nice for her to explain why. Like, look at these marks. These marks don't match those marks. But I don't think they even did that. She just said it's her opinion, unless
she
I'm
may have,
mistaken.
but like because her testimony actually goes on for like a long time. It's I was having a hard time like reading it and actually comprehending what she said. But from my understanding is that unspent round was actually cycled 2 to 3 times through the gun, which seems like it would make it even less uh significant for evidentiary value, but I don't know.
Um, well, you would be. Well, yeah. So it's really stupid to. So when you fire a gun, there's approximately 40,000 psi, pounds per square inch of pressure. So if you think of your tire is about 30 psi. So there's about 40,000 psi in a 40 caliber pistol cartridge when you fire it, versus basically zero when you rack the slide by hand.
Yeah.
Um, so the marks, it makes total sense that you would not get many marks the first couple times you rack it. And then if you keep racking it, if she's, it would be dumb both ways, but if you would align the bullet back in the gun in the same orientation so that you're reinforcing the grooves you're creating, to me, that's kind of dumb. And then if you didn't do that and you have this, you're just creating grooves all around the bullet, that's also dumb.
Well,
And
I'm
neither,
not talking about her test bullet. I'm talking about the actual bullet that they found in between the bodies was allegedly cycled through gun 2 to 3 times.
ah, um, yeah, they don't know that because they would have to look at the grooves on the marks on the bullet. And you're assuming that, I mean, so you'd have marks. You'd have like scraping marks from the chamber where the cylinder of the bullet goes into the barrel. You would have the extractor marks. There's a little claw that pulls on the rim, the back rim of the shell casing.
Yeah, I should
And
bring
then
up
the
some illustrations here, huh? Probably.
and then the ejector is a little metal rod that hits the back of the round and kicks it out of the gun.
Yeah, so like those are just like very light impressions, but she said that that it did cycle through 2 times, possibly 3 times. That's like her testimony in court.
Yeah, or not is my point.
Yeah, no, I think it makes it just even like less, like I don't even know how that made
What
it
if the
in
gun that
court.
it was actually came from just made it look like it cycled 2 or 3 times, but it was only once?
Yeah, or like just the twigs on the ground or whatever that could have also marked the bullet as well, you know?
Um, so there is a decent amount of pressure when you're putting the hardened steel components of the gun are hitting the soft brass of the shell casing. So I wouldn't think twigs would do much, but um, like rolling around in your pocket with a pocket full of coins or something could. Um, Scraping on a zipper or something like that could.
Yeah.
But so she finds this bullet, and then she says, well, in her opinion, to match it to the one that she tests, the bullet she found had to cycle 2 or 3 times, or the markings are just different.
Yeah, I would say that like okay, so no shot, no ballistic trajectory or casing found, so it provides no direct evidence a gun was fired or whatever. And then yeah, I don't know if she actually like chambered it or whatever 3 times and then compared that, or if she had just seen three. I wish Stevie was in here because I know that he knows this. Um, see if All Eyes responded to me. She may have, she maybe didn't. Um, but yeah, it's just I don't even know how you would decide like what comes from what, like which markings come from which. And then I asked like DB like would somebody like why would somebody keep like cycling a gun or a bullet through their gun? And I guess he said like if you had it chambered, like say you went for a hike and you had it chambered and like the safety on and then you like get done, you could like pop that bullet out and then put it back in the top.
Yeah.
Does
So
that sound like
yeah. So for example, like a policeman, they if a policeman's carrying like a Glock, it doesn't have an external safety. So as soon as you pull it out of your holster, it's ready to fire. So you don't want that thing live hanging around, especially if you have like kids at home or anything really. So you're going to, before you put it on your nightstand, you're going to take the bullet in the chamber out. And then in the morning, when you're about to put it back in your holster, you're going to put it back in. I would assume that's a common practice. Um, so, yeah, so if somebody is carrying it loaded, then you're not going to want to leave it loaded at all times at home. So you're going to take it out and then put it back in the next time you are ready to carry it loaded.
how common do you think it would be for like just the average Joe like walking down a trail and bringing their weapon for general protection to have one in the chamber?
Probably about 80% of people. That's a wild guess, but it's
They would
it's a,
have it in the chamber?
yeah,
Hmm.
maybe more. It's a common debate of whether you should carry one chambered, and you're basically they say you're stupid to not carry one in the chamber.
Because then you're not like ready if you need it.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that does kind of make sense, but kind of.
And so it's I debate that with people all the time because what you're doing is you're balancing the need for the gun to be ready immediately versus the probability of having a negligent discharge. So, for example, they call it Israeli carry because at least at some point in history, the Israeli army carried an empty chamber. So when they would draw their gun, they would rack the slide to chamber around. If you're a police officer doing, and you think there's a high probability that you're going to need to shoot, you're going to tend to carry it with one in the chamber, and you have a really good holster that generally the firearm's very secure in, so your holster is your safety. So it's relatively safe until you pull it out, and the assumption is when you pull it out, you're going to need to shoot it.
Yeah.
So the average Joe walking around, are somewhere between these two extremes of um, how likely they think they're going to need to fire extremely quickly versus how much risk they are willing to take for a loaded gun going off.
Yeah, that's like how people end up shooting themselves in the leg, huh?
Yes. Well, yeah. So one of the ways, yeah.
Yeah.
But you've had things like school resource officers goofing around with kids, and the little kid gets their little finger inside the holster and pulls the trigger, and the gun goes off. Or the gun falls out of the holster and goes off. So if if you're willing to take the higher probability of having a accidental or negligent discharge, then you're going to tend to carry it. And if your risk profile of how often you're going to need to shoot it in self-defense is high, then you're going to err on the side of carrying it chambered.
Well, and see, like,
but if you're like,
I don't see Richard Allen as like being somebody who like always has his gun ready, but like he was in the National Guard and he was in the like I think he was the ammunitions guy or whatever. But
so if you're going out to kidnap somebody, then you probably would. And also his SIG, if I'm correct on this, has a sort of like a half safety.
Yeah, I think you are correct on that. I want to say that I looked it up and that's what it said, but
I think it's got a decocker, so so a Glock has a very light trigger pull. So if you pull it, it's very easy to accidentally pull the trigger by just touching it. Whereas a SIG with a decocker, you flip the decocker, it drops the hammer. So then your next trigger pull is a very long, hard trigger pull to get the first shot off before it cocks the hammer for the second shot.
But you don't have to like pull it back. You just press the trigger, right? And it'll like do that for you.
Correct. On the SIG, yes. So yeah, I don't want to go into all the different variations, but yeah, with the SIG, you're gonna, because the second trigger pull is extremely light, so you're gonna always hit the decocker to have that first trigger pull be a long trigger pull.
But I'm not going to.
Yeah, long and hard.
I try to keep it appropriate when I'm like talking about true crime, but it's hard. Okay, so let's see. I made a video, but I'm just mostly want the graphics from it. Can you see my screen with the bullet thing?
I think so.
I think so too. I'm not 100%
Yes.
sure, but it's
Yeah.
good enough.
It's got the big play thing in the middle. Oh, there we go.
I made like two, so I never know which ones have it, but I think I have a picture or a illustration of the gun actually firing, so that'd probably be helpful. Or maybe not, because it didn't fire, but yeah, there's just, I feel like there's not, like, the most that they could possibly say is that it matches like the caliber of weapon that they have,
So
pretty much.
I'll make a quick point here with the. So if you're looking at the case, so one of the reasons those are made out of brass is it's a softer metal, so that when the gunpowder um, conflagrates, I think is the right term, um, the brass will expand and seal the chamber so that no gases escape. So think of that cylinder expanding into the chamber, a very small amount, like microns, um, but it's expanding into all. That's how you get some of the tool marks from a fired bullet. So that brass actually expands. Well, when you're doing it without firing it, it's not expanding.
Yeah.
So you're you're not going to get hardly any marks from a non-fired bullet,
Yeah, it's basically just going to be like scraping a little bit, right?
if at all. So you might get the extractor mark, and you might get the ejector mark, but there's not going to be much as far as scraping in the chamber with an unfired round.
It's like a glance through time looking through old videos. It's weird. I know we did another blue one though. Somewhere. Somewhere. Did I private it? I don't know. It probably just doesn't have a bullet on the front. So, are you of the opinion that um, Richard Allen is innocent, or do you not want to say? I would never force anybody to say.
I'm not the more we go along, the more towards innocent I'm leaning. Probably right now I'm leaning 55% innocent, 45% guilty. So I'm definitely not convinced beyond a reasonable doubt. So they essentially have no real evidence, especially if you remove the evidence that was obtained through constitutional rights violations. You basically have the guy trying to help the case by admitting he was there, and then they stuck him in prison to get confessions. So their evidence is that he said he was there, and he happened to own a bullet, the same caliber of bullet they found.
Are you still here?
And at this point, at some point, the risk to the community is far greater from a government that's going to violate your constitutional rights just to get a conviction. And you can't let them get away with that. So
yeah, I agree
the
100.
government, you can get to a point where even if a guy is definitely guilty, you can't let the government get away with the type of things that they do to get the conviction. But we're also so far from that point as far as how convinced I am he's guilty. So I think the best chance for an appeal is for whoever does it. I know it's happened before. Is they can just overturn a case for lack of evidence. So that seems to me like might be the best chance. Is if somebody just looks at the evidence and they won't be tricked like the jury was that the bullet's actually a match. They will properly question the incriminating statements. They will probably look more askance at Walla than the jury did, and they aren't going to believe that you can match his voice. So then what are you left with? Just the mere presence and a vague resemblance to the BG video.
Well, even the bridge guy video
And
is like,
that's not enough evidence.
It seemed like Libby was saying like down the hill before he even caught up to them. So
I think Gull was too crafty in all the procedural stuff that she knew just enough. She knew how to slip everything in just enough that it wouldn't get overturned on procedural or legal grounds, minus a few things.
So is that just like a flaw in the system, or do you think that there's
to me the best chance is just
conspiracy,
an unbiased higher authority looking at the actual evidence?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. The most professional.
I can't hear you. Did I mess something up?
Oh, you can't hear me? Okay. Hello? Can you hear me now? 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 Of course. Hold on one sec.
Let me try something. I think my Bluetooth headphone. Are we back?
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear if you're talking.
Can you hear me now?
And I can't seem to fix what I'm doing. And I also need to go.
Okay.
So sorry to make it short. I have to go help someone with something real quick. But
okay. Hi.
There we go.
Shibby,
There's your savior.
Can anybody hear me?
I hear you.
I'm going to go because mine's not working right now.
I hear you.
Thank you so much for chatting with me.
And I will try to get back on later if you're still on.
Oh, I don't think you can hear me.
Sorry. And I actually don't even know how to leave.
Yeah, just boot him until he comes. Get him to come back. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I hear you perfectly. You've been going on the whole time. I heard you, but we heard you all the whole time.
That's great. Just me, just yapping.
Yes, you were. How you doing?
Well, I'm glad you missed the first part of it because it literally was just me, like, just talking, and like it's kind of brutal. So.
Oh, you're rusty. You're rusty.
Definitely don't rewind and go to the beginning.
I definitely going to now. No, I'm writing that down so I don't forget.
Dear Lord, please. And
Everyone.
I spelled magic wrong, so I'm on a roll.
With what? How'd you spell it wrong? With a K?
Majic. That's not how you spell it, right?
No, that works perfect for me. Yeah.
Isn't it with a G?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good still. I thought you did a K at the end, so that's better.
I mean, whatever. People know what it says, right?
Hey, I got no notification or nothing. Or maybe I did and I didn't. I've been watching the hockey game here. My team was playing in the third period. It was a great game. I would have been here at the beginning.
No, it's because I literally just like randomly was like, screw it. I'm just going to press go live and freaking raw dog it.
Raw dog, yeah. Let's do it. Just you and I. Raw dog. I'm just kidding.
No.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're like what? You're like 4,000 miles away from me. So we can't do any of that. So that's cool.
I know, but yeah, it's a call in. You want to call in? I'll drop the link again.
Oh yeah, Josh is look at that. Low light. Wow. This is gonna go great. 8 people now. Oh, I put out a post, like I shared it to tell everyone to come. So you might get the shibby bump soon. Maybe that's why Josh is here. He might have seen mine.
Probably, because I didn't share it at all.
I shared it right when I saw it. I was like, what the heck?
Thank you.
Do you want to discuss anything, or you want to just get Josh on and you decide, or winging it? What?
Thus far, I've just kind of been winging it, like wing-dinging it. But yeah.
You seem to like the bullet talk. I'm game.
Well, because I feel like the bullet is like the basis for like how they even got to arrest Richard Allen at all. Hi, Josh. Welcome.
Hey.
Whoa,
Hello.
deep throat.
What's going on?
Hey.
Did you say deep throat?
Uh-oh.
Wow.
I'm turning him up.
So what's going on?
I'll let you two talk first. You guys talk first. I'm here listening.
Oh, I'm like super awkward. I don't know if you ever listened to any lives that I'm on, but yeah, this is how they go, kind of. I don't plan them very well. But hi, Josh. Welcome.
Okay, so I had made a mistake, and I did like the worst of all errors. Like I did not close out the YouTube side, so now it's going to be less weird because I'm not listening to everything happen twice. So I'm good. I've just been lurking and listening and that sort of thing. I don't know. I'm kind of optimistic right now about about the appeal, just because it's things that I've heard, in the background, and then the latest release.
So I did not actually read the latest release. I did listen to the beginning of a Murder Sheet episode on it, and I just cannot with them. I really just can't.
Yeah, I guess they're pretty butthurt. I was listening to Frank Meister the other night. He was pretty pissed. He's saying that they're just kind of going at straws, or they're firing and aiming at everything that they can, trying to find something that'll stick. But that's not really what happened. So Stacey Juliana and Mark Lehman put in a motion to the appellate court requesting an oversized brief. So I guess they typically have
that sounds like they went into get some underwear, but I'm sorry.
Right. Who wanted to shibby's underwear or something? But it's an oversized brief. So typically I think they're limited to 10,000 words, and they're asking for 14,000 more words, maybe it's the other way around.
Josh, wait 1 sec. I believe the word you're looking for is grandma panties. That's the one, right?
Yes. Yep. So like they said that they had identified 9 separate constitutional issues, and they're looking at 10 issues that they believe are relevant to an appeal. So, there's a lot of legalese that I don't necessarily understand, but the Matas had something on it the other day. I'm sure Lawyer Lee and other people have something on it too. And I believe Criminality did a stream on it. I'm pretty stoked. And then I was talking to somebody recently who would be. So let me see. So I was talking to somebody recently who was questioned by Mark Lehman, and they didn't tell me any of the questions that Mark had asked them, but they did say that like their questions were really good. And there have been, people in the community have, said things about the appellate attorneys. They've said things about the defense attorneys, how they feel like they were plants or something. But the feeling I walked away with,
Mark Lehman, is, correct me if I'm wrong, but he is the lawyer that argued the writ in front of the Supreme Court of Indiana, right?
No. He's the other appeal attorney with Uliana.
Yes.
You're
we haven't
of,
seen Mark yet, I believe, in the case. I'm pretty sure.
You're thinking of that guy.
I think
you're thinking of Wheathead. She's thinking of Wheat from ISC, the Supreme Court.
No, I'm that was for the other side.
Are you thinking of the Supreme Court though?
Yes.
That was Kara Weinicke's husband, I believe, wasn't it?
I don't think it was. Maybe it was. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm not sure. And I think, well, I don't know. So, but the questions that were being asked, apparently were very good. And, so that's just a really good sign, because the person that I talked to about this is like, Mark wouldn't be talking to them if they weren't, close to the case. So,
right.
So,
that's not necessarily true, because I used to talk to Kara before like that whole thing came out, that like saying that they were doing something that was like dishonest, which like Kara is not. She wasn't doing anything dishonest. She was just like trying to like siphon information to the right people to where it actually should go,
Yeah. And
she's like very nice. So I don't like anybody that talks crap on her, because I think she's rad.
Well, I don't know Kara. I know that she seems like, I've watched some of her stuff and I subscribe to her X, and she seems like, she's knowledgeable. So I tend to just kind of go where the information is, and I don't really kind of give a crap about anything else.
Well, I like Kara because although it makes her very unpopular, because she will argue to get like somebody who's guilty off on like technicalities and stuff, that really is how you keep the justice system in check. That's how you keep like dishonest law enforcement in check, is you have to make it so if they do something that they're not supposed to do, that they cannot use it, even if that person is guilty, which is like,
yeah,
when you get your feelings involved, it is a hard like pill to swallow. But like, I have respect for her. Like, she definitely is about like the law,
Yeah. Well, I was pretty normie when I came into this thing until the Franks. I probably thought most people who got arrested were guilty, and maybe they are. But my opinion of defense attorneys, was a little skewed, kind of like a lot of people's are.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's completely skewed the other way. I've completely flipped. Like I look at prosecutors and judges and I think, okay, there's a scumbag.
Yeah. I mean, they can be, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be that way with all this YouTube stuff we've been watching now. Like every other day, we're seeing shenanigans from the police and the state, and there's just so much shit going on. You have to question everything, trust no one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess I saw the other day I was watching Peggy O, and with Mark Robert Cohen, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems like they give so much benefit of the doubt to the state, and they give none to Richard Allen, which is our system. Our system is prove him guilty. Don't prove him innocent.
The reasonable doubt needs to go in the favor of the defendant. Yes, but it didn't. Nothing.
So, and I can imagine why he might have like reasons to feel that way. Like his cognitive dissonance is going to lean that way because he has had an effect on the case. But when he says things like it just, he understands that that they weren't allowed to have the third party suspects in, or the geofence evidence allowed in. He says, but it just seems to him like the defense didn't fight too hard to get it in. And my first thought was, well, it also seemed to you like Ruckus was trustworthy.
Hey, Heather's here. Heather, hello.
I like Ruckus. He's my buddy, but
I'm sorry.
No, it's I don't know why you're sorry. I'm totally fine with whatever. Like, me and him disagree on like everything, but like, I don't know. I am fond of him, so just have to put that out there because I would feel like I was doing a disservice if I wasn't. But I do understand.
That's fine.
Could say that because sometimes he does. Like, I do disagree strongly with a lot of the things that he says. So.
Well, Josh, I can throw in something with the third-party defense. The whole thing with just picture Elvis Fields, okay? So there's no third-party defense at trial, yet 8 unified command officers piled in one van and drove down there to investigate. It has to be. You have to talk about this because to do that, I say that because it sounds ridiculous because 8 unified command getting in one van and going to talk to one guy's family about him, that means he's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Why isn't he at trial? So fuck Odin, fuck all that shit. Elvis Fields. Why wasn't he at trial? That's crazy to me.
Well, he described the crime scene. That's why. That's like, first of all, I'm really not here to throw stones, and I try not to do that. So I know that I had that to say, but it's just that there's these people who have had a larger effect on the case, by sharing crime scene photos and that sort of thing, and then that all came back on Richard Allen and the defense. So, I just have feelings about that. Now, to your point, Shibby, about the about Elvis Fields. I think that, like, for a long time, I have not really ventured into like a theory of the crime itself.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever theory that you come up with needs to incorporate, what you just said.
Yeah.
You've got a guy who's described the crime scene. He's described the bodies and all of those things. And then he's not, no nexus, right? So what kind of theory can you come up with that incorporates that? I mean, he's clearly a patsy, at least in my mind. He's not somebody that the Vinlander Social Club or the American Guard, he's not the type that they would recruit outside of like being a gopher.
No, for sure not.
Except for on Sleuth Intuition, he had Patrick Westphal on there like 3 times. One he called in, one he was on like video. And then the third, we were allowed to call in and ask him our own personal questions, like without any, like giving him the questions beforehand or anything, which I thought was pretty cool of both Sleuth and him.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the questions that was asked by somebody was that, like, oh, you guys have people that are maybe like not the smartest, like hang around and then kind of like use them as like to laugh at and like go fetch them whatever they want, and not that they would be like in the Vinlanders, but that they would allow them to like be hang arounds.
Yeah, definitely. Elvis was like that.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, so that was one of his answers to one of the questions. I've watched those videos multiple times. I thought it was great. I don't have I don't believe that Patrick Westphal is actually involved in the crime.
Do you know what makes me steer away from that aspect is like I kind of feel like one of those people is maybe like an undercover or like they have like they know what's going on in there or something.
I think there's two of them that are not undercover but are or were informants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Plus, with Patrick Westphal, he was no dummy putting all this shit on social media and talking to people. So even if he were involved, I can understand he would be pretty confident in, knowing nobody's got nothing on him.
Well, he could have been because he did have a social media. It was a Traeger or something, but like
he wasn't doing the same shit Holder was.
I don't think anybody had picked up on him in enough time to like get his stuff off of social media before he like.
Oh no, he and Brad Holder were the first two people interviewed. So what's not really known, I don't know if the two of you follow me at all or listen to anything, but within hours, the FBI, ISP, and were in a stakeout on Klein's residence, and Evansdale police were notified. And on the other end, within 2 days, both Brad Holder and then the third day, Patrick Westphal were interviewed by the FBI.
Right.
And that those interviews were entered under seal. They were not lost. It was not until Patrick Westphal and just the Vinlander and the American Guard crew were participating in the Unite the Right rally out in Charlottesville, and right after that was when all of their investigative juice got lost.
So when let me rewind a second and think about what you just said.
You're fine.
Like when did like they get that Goldilocks phone and stuff?
Okay, so okay, I can
I know about that too. That was later on in the contempt hearing with that guy with his phone. They were talking.
Yeah, so
Hennessy and Ellen were talking about it then.
Here we're talking about Todd Click. Messer's girlfriend reached out after the August 10th, 2023 deposition, I believe. Don't hold me to the year, but it was after the August 10th deposition of Jerry Holman. And the girlfriend of Messer reached out and said, hey, I've got this phone. And then an intermediary. So then Click contacts the state and says, there's this phone that's of investigative, interest. And they didn't get it. So Todd Click at that point, he was watching the state and he was building a case of bad faith against them, actually. He had retained a lawyer and everything. And so eventually the defense sends an intermediary out to go up to her and pick up the phone. And so that's how that was discovered, the Goldilocks phone. At that point, the state was actively trying to keep third-party information, specifically about this Vinlander crew, from the defense. Now, this wasn't like Brad Holder or Westphal information. This was Johnny Messer. And Johnny Messer was the person who recruited Elvis Fields.
A supposed video of murdering and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's got a video on there of him kidnapping someone at gunpoint over drugs. So he's got a rap sheet that includes what is that when you create fake money? And yeah, there you go. Counterfeiting, kidnapping, and then he's bragged on multiple occasions of having a body account. I've seen him wearing an Iron Horseman shirt at an Iron Horseman pig roast. And they are Sinaloa connected. And Sinaloa
it seems like the Vinlanders was like they originated from the like outlaw Hammerskins or something like that.
Yeah, the Hammerskins, yeah.
And then I know Brian James, he was also like transitioned into like the Proud Boys or whatever. Yeah.
Are you asking a question?
I'm fairly positive that this is
Yeah,
what
I mean, because
happened.
you're correct. Yeah, I mean, he's the head of the not independent, but the Proud Boys Indianapolis something chapter, but they're not connected to like the Proud Boys Corporation. They were incorporated by a lawyer out of Dallas, Texas, who was interestingly enough fingered in a murder. His name is Jason Lee Van Dyke or something like that. He's deleted all of his social media, but like one of his rivals has has died of a bunch of stab wounds, I think, recently.
Well,
and then he was caught on audio, like trying to get some Proud Boys to, to whack him.
Yeah. That group in particular is interesting because they actually do like coincide with some like law enforcement, like has ties to like Proud Boy and just like Trump supporting type people. And Brian James, I think, isn't Julie Melvin like pretty good friends with Brian James?
I mean, look, I am one, like, I have heard that from a pretty good source. Yeah. But I haven't been able to, like, I've tried reaching out to Julie Melvin and Brian James as well on multiple occasions, and I get crickets. So.
Yeah, I don't know how Sleuth got Patrick to come on like multiple times, but
no, it was great. I mean, I don't like his content very much, but hats off for that.
He's done some he's another one I very much like. Me and Sleuth used like kind of started our channels around the same time, and he used to be much more into like different theories and stuff because we didn't know like anything. Yeah. And yeah, so and he can go down some rabbit holes if you get him to. But he did an interview with Julian Powell, which was very fucking interesting. I was like, dude, that dude did it for sure.
Did you guys see the video on well, I mean, have either of you heard the recording of Julie Melvin talking with a few other creators early on?
Oh, sorry, no. I thought, is that the one? Sorry, was that the one where they're at the Patty's house and the Hannah Shakespeare stuff? The recording, or
I don't think so, but I'm not sure. They had, but there's a portion where she gets in like a hushed tone and she says, there's a lot of people who look at this and think that has to do with organized crime.
Right, but I'm talking about it was just audio, right? But something like that also happened when Julie Melvin was there and Hannah Shakespeare was doing her documentary. So there was a tape recording of them talking that got out, and that's the one I heard. I'm not sure if it's the same.
Yeah,
so.
I heard that one too.
But my point is it's good to know that like people early on who are very close to it were looking at it and seeing some of the same things that some of us are seeing.
Well, that's the thing is like all of this information, like the defense didn't just make it up. It actually came from the discovery.
Yeah.
And so like that is like obviously the sticks did look like runes because the law enforcement went and found a professor that specializes in runes, and he spoke with another like professor at Harvard who deals with more like Germanic runes, which when they say Germanic, they're really saying like the white power aspect of the Vinlanders is what they're like talking about, is because there is separate books of runes that are more like Nazi runes.
Right. I think we should just use Odinism as a blanket cause for all of these, and we can't know exactly what they're thinking, right? Or you can just say guys that would drink from a horn. I'm fine with that.
Well, but I think
there's
That's actually
an interesting illusion.
I think there's actually quite a distinction between like Odin.
Well, of course there is, but you're letting these guys off though, because if we say the wrong name, then they kind of say, "Oh, I'm not an Odinist. I'm a Norse pagan heathen and stuff."
No,
so how are we to know by looking at pictures?
Is what they practice.
Right. So whatever it is, we need to stop this and just go with the whole blanket. No, because we're not trying to figure out what it is. We're just trying to say that it's something there
No,
you know,
it's
from
also
someone.
true, but more so
Right,
it's
okay.
it's more so their gang
Well, yeah.
is like you have to be that. But I would say they're more like white
Yeah.
pride type, but they do
Well,
actively practice that.
well,
Do
listen,
either
the
can
first,
I don't want to like dox either of you, or
oh no,
do either of you feel comfortable saying whether or not you're from Indiana?
Yeah, I'm
I'm
not
not
from
from
Indiana.
Indiana.
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm in Canada. I'm in near Toronto, in Mississauga. So
Oh
I'm
yes, I
nowhere near it.
know. I didn't want to.
No, I'm okay. I don't care. I'm about
You're in high
7
school
hours away from Delphi.
where people like me can't get up there and get at you.
No, I'm fine with it. As long as the most guys I'd be afraid of probably have criminal records, and they probably won't even get it past the border guards. So, but just kidding though. I'm about 7 hours from Delphi. So, and Fishy's
Okay.
on the other side of the country,
Oh wow.
continent.
Right on. So, let me see. Like, well, it's just very prevalent in that region. You know, like the Night of the Franks got on, looked at it, and got on Facebook. I made a Facebook that night, and I got on there, and I was shocked. Like, I mean, I don't know if they outnumber the Baptists in the region, but they're giving them a run for their money. So,
Well, if you look at the like the bike rally for the girls, like immediately after it happened, and I'm in no way saying that like motorcycle like people. I'm not saying like they're all a group or whatever, but like Johnny Messer definitely rides a motorcycle with a certain group of like the 1%ers or whatever. All the rest, I'm sure, are very nice people. I actually know people that are in the Hells Angels, and they have like more morals than a lot of just regular people do because they like go by a code. And like, if you're just like a regular person, they're totally nice and like you are safe. Don't ever be scared. Like, if you need help, I would go to one of them over a regular person in a lot of cases. But isn't there also like a Viking tattoo place right in Delphi, like right downtown
Yeah,
Delphi?
it was just spelled a little differently, but it was like, what was it? Odin's Den or
Odin's
something.
Den. Odin's Den.
It was spelled with an E or something a little different. I don't know why or what, but
I don't know. I've thought
I saw
about
photos of it.
reaching out or whatever, but those people, have just, that whole town has been completely sourcing there, and sourcing Delphi in general is difficult, especially after like a lot of the fiascos that occurred around the trial. I've talked to multiple people who just say, like, we don't know who to trust and all of that. I'm of the mind that Lauren's of Hidden True Crimes meltdown has more to do with the fact that day after day we're getting more and more evidence that Rick was innocent, and she knows she helped frame a guy. Like, she knows. I think she went in thinking that, because I have reason to believe, people have told me that she misrepresented herself when she came into town, telling people that she had an open mind and all of that, but that she did not, and that she manipulated people and got information from them, and then got access after getting that information with Becky Patty and with Holman, and all of that.
Right.
So
Well,
that's how people like Rick
I
Warren.
like
I would say that
if you're bound by a non-disclosure agreement, and then more and more of this evidence is coming out, and you're looking worse and worse, and people hate, like, I wish one of these psychologist streamers would go over the psychology of calling your followers hidden gems. Like, what kind of person are you looking for?
Dr. John?
What?
Kidding. That was a joke. Do you want it to be Dr. John? Because
I have no idea.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
That would be funny.
That dude's a red flag. Like, when he was talking about like how mad he was that he got interrupted because he was about to be the most vulnerable he's ever been in his whole life, and she ruined that for him. I was like, what is this even? What is he even talking about? That's wild, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, I'd like to add with the Lauren stuff is, yeah, she probably didn't even know what she was doing then, but her type is the ones that will kind of spout the narrative for the state, so then she can get access to them because they came to her for interviews.
I
So
don't
she
think it's
probably
just
knows they're
access though, Shibby. I think that
well.
there's certain people that really like, and I wish I was one of them because I think life
They
would
really
be
believe it.
easier, but they want to feel safe and they want law enforcement to do the right thing. And many law enforcement do the right thing and I have no issues with law enforcement in general. I just think that Delphi is like generations of people who are at like there's certain people that are in the in crowd or whatever. So like Shane, for example, the mayor, and like I think the Patties might qualify for that as well. And they're just like they go back a ways and they all know each other. In fact, they're probably like have interweavings with their families. Like a kid over here is like married to this person, has a kid with that person, and it's just all a very complicated web that goes back. Like I used to watch their city council meetings when what's her name? The lady that used to like go record them. She's amazing.
I saw that. Yeah.
But then the Carroll County comment got like bought out, and so like that happened right when trial was happening, which was a bummer because we like lost access to all that. But I forgot where I was going with this whole thing.
Well, that was the whole that woman who did that was the one who McClellan was there asking for more money and all that stuff, and they had those meetings and the people.
Yeah.
I was watching those too.
Oh yeah, Debbie Lowe, exactly. But my whole point was, I think that like Lauren maybe did think she was going there with like an open mind because my friend Teddy, he went there and he was like more defense minded, and once he got there, there was kind of like a little group that got together and like it kind of like interwove to where it became like more a part of their identity, sort of, you know.
Right.
Do you know what I
Two
mean?
camps. There was one side and there was two camps. Yeah. I could picture them being at the same bar or restaurant, sitting at one group of, looking at each other, stink
They
eyeing each other,
100% were, and they were doing
Yeah.
karaoke and having a great
Yeah.
time, you know? And so like those people all kind of like went with Richard Allen is guilty, but I like have to remind them that they were only allowed to see this portion that was specifically like curated to say that Richard Allen was guilty. And I feel like if they had done that with Keegan Klein or Ron Logan, they could have gotten a guilty verdict in either of those cases if they had kept out everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, 80% of the discovery was owed in this, owed in that, owed in this, and fucking
I don't know
Elvis.
if it was
All these guys.
80% of the discovery. I
Well,
think they picked
okay,
up on
I'm
that because
exaggerating.
it
Whatever.
showed like a lack of follow up, and also because Click like delivered it to them on a platter. But I don't even know if they necessarily actually think that's who did it. I think they're trying to like illustrate how they didn't really follow through on a lot of stuff, you know?
Well, there was plenty in, I don't know what the percentage is. I'm kind of exaggerating, but there was plenty enough for the third party and Odinism and all that stuff for it to have to be a trial. And for it not to be, I think that's what the plan was to distract these defense. And they took the bait and went with all this discovery that was given to them and knowing that Go was not going to allow it. So that's why Nick and them, that's why it looks dumb now.
Well, I don't think
People
they
are
were
saying,
trying to
hey,
distract them because they were actually
well,
like very much on the Klein trail at that point. Like, and so I think what happened was that they came across this tip, however they said they did. I'm gonna choose to go with that and say that like they said, oh my gosh, this is the guy who we're looking for. We wanted somebody who was like on the trails that we didn't know about, which I question how many other people were on the trails. But then they didn't let the evidence lead to the person. They took the person and worked backwards, which is just, I feel like, a recipe for setting up the wrong person, kind of.
Yeah. Well, Klein said he was Anthony Schatz. Anthony Schatz was talking to them that morning. Why wasn't he fucking at the trial getting blasted? Keegan. Even for
Well, I
information.
think there was a lot of shady people that were around, and there was all these different ways they could have gone, but not everybody could be involved. Like, if you think it's the clients, I don't think you can really
no. Wait, though. But Kelsey said in an interview that night when the girls were missing, she contacted Anthony Schatz and was talking to him.
Yeah.
Right. So what? So forget about their involvement. Like, I mean, whatever it is, like, why is he not totally in all this?
Well, because I think there was like a lot of different people that, like, if you just looked at a certain subsect of like what happened that day, like, look shady, but it can't be everybody, you know?
Well, I'd just interject that even with Klein, we saw, like sim swapping and, multiple sims and all of these things with a degree of like technical prowess that I don't have when it comes to phones. Certainly you can automate a lot of that stuff today with some, websites and things like that. You can spoof numbers. Yeah. This is 2017. I'm not sure how common that was.
No, you could still way back. Oh yeah, you could.
Yeah. So
from 2010 and up.
My point is that, I feel like those girls' phones were compromised, and I feel like Libby was the target.
Mm-hmm.
So like Klein might have just been. Now I think Klein was sadistic in the way he was catfishing, like he was, threatening girls and whatnot for nudes and other sex acts on phones and that sort of thing.
Well, see, like, do you ever watch Tony Bruschi? And he has a FBI psychologist guy on there. I think his name's like Robin or something. But
I usually just click like on his videos because like he travels kind of the same ideas that I don't know.
Well, like I don't necessarily like all of Tony Bruschi's videos, but definitely the one that have that FBI guy on there. Mm-hmm. I think he has like some very good arguments for, like, he says, if you have this guy who's gonna go and like do this to these girls, like, you should see some sort of behavioral arc leading up to this behavior, because basically, like, it is a thing that like goes on in their mind like for a long time and builds up, and then he would like finally end up doing it, right? Like, you should see that build up or that arc, and you just don't with Richard Allen.
So okay, now here's where we, I mean, I agree to a point, but I don't feel like this was that person's first murder, and I don't feel like Klein was sadistic in the way that he wanted to kill the girls. I think that he was manipulative, more because, he probably didn't have a lot of luck with women. But a lot of guys that are,
when they saw him in real life, yeah,
a lot of guys are hebephiles, are kind of like stuck at a lower age. Like, they stayed attracted to girls in middle school, which was when they started to be attracted to them, and everybody else kind of aged and they didn't. What we do know about Keegan is that he's at a house where he's sharing pornography with his father,
right?
And that's just a weird house to grow up in.
Definitely.
So whatever was going on there, it affected him in that way. I just don't see someone who's going to go and kill a little. I think Daisy Asks did a video about this. I didn't get really to see all of it, but she had the name of her video seemed to like go towards this.
Have you heard of that group?
She did a poll or something the other day that was about that. But anyhow, she's got some interesting stuff. So
have you heard of that group 764?
Which is so funny, because somebody the other day had like asked me if I would look into 764 and this, and I'm like, I don't really know 764, but BX does. And
Prof did a deep dive on them last few months. We've been talking about them for months.
But like, okay, so not necessarily that actual group, but like the Nate Shillmaker, or I can't remember exactly his last name, but he was like messing around with like getting people to do stuff online and like telling them that he was like this different person and having them record it. And then there was also that Buster Hernandez who was actually terrorizing like people in Indiana. And what he would do is he would like get a hold of a girl and then like he would take over their social media accounts, like, and he had like the code to this girl's garage, and he had her attend like the community meeting, which was like not televised and stuff, specifically because they didn't want this guy to be able to like hear what they were talking about. But he had someone attend that and tell him about it so he could like make it appear like he was like everywhere and they couldn't hide from him. And like basically, and he was also the purge of Maine, and he was doing this like massive scale across like the United States and stuff. And like all three of those, the 764, the Nate Shillmaker, and the Buster Hernandez, they all have like that common link of basically like sextortion. And
Yes.
like I don't know, like I'm not at all accusing Kelsey, because she could just have like something that doesn't mesh with her statement, because maybe she went and hooked up with her boyfriend or something and she didn't want her parents to know. That'd be a totally valid reason to be hiding something, and it would come across as sounding weird when she's saying it. But like, yeah, I don't know. Her and Brie kind of just, I've always had a weird something.
Well, a quick contradiction with Kelsey would be like, even something as innocent as what you're saying, like she did, when your grandma, like when you don't know anything's wrong and your grandma's kind of bugging you on the phone, it's kind of, a young person might not answer right away, right? So even if she says something innocent like that, when she doesn't know Libby's, missing, it could look worse in the future. So I think that's kind of what you're saying.
Well, I feel like
it is what I'm saying, yeah.
I feel like it's totally okay to ask those questions because we didn't really get that out of law enforcement.
Right.
So there's that
Plus
whole list of questions that just didn't get flushed out for the public. Like, did the girls' proximity to organized crime have anything to do with their murders? Never asked by press, never asked by the law enforcement. The families have anything
these
to do with
were
it.
called the Snapchat murders for a reason. I don't know exactly what that reason was, but
I'll tell you why. Because
it does imply
that original photo of the Snapchat, the original one with Abby, the first photo that's been out forever, somebody got it from Snapchat. So that's how it became the Snapchat murders.
What were the other photos that were in that?
Well, it was that first one, I believe.
Okay,
also,
so with
Josh,
764, can I just interject? And I just want to say that with 764, they have a goal, which is social destruction. Yeah. And so like their modus operandi is getting you to start cutting yourself, kill your dog, kill your cat.
Okay, my neighbor
Keegan Kline and his buddies were looking for pornography from these girls. They weren't looking to entertain these girls to the point where they were destroying their lives and the lives of their family.
They
764 has a modus operandi, and this doesn't necessarily
but that doesn't mean that the girls didn't get like linked to or like fucking into a group that's not good. Because my neighbor, her daughter, I think she was like 11, I want to say, I know my daughter knows her little sister, but her older sister, she killed a hamster and skinned it and then made like this video and showed her mom and her sister. And like, I was always like, that's fucking wild, right?
That is.
But then I heard about this group 764 and I was like, that's exactly what she did. That's like exactly what happened in that situation. So I don't know if it was that group, but like, it's almost like I would bet money on it.
Almost like she did it because somebody had compromising information on her and she's, influential, right? And she feels like she has to do that for them to then not have them reveal all the other stuff on her.
Literally does have to, because they actually will
Right.
like release photo, like they're hardcore. That 764 group is no joke.
Right.
So I just want to say Love and Light is totally right. It is CSAM material. It was, I was one of those few things that I'll stand being corrected on, but yeah, she's right.
You don't stand being corrected on anything else. You're
Not
just like,
much.
do not correct me.
Hey, just know we're dopes. I'm a dope, and I'm going to probably get things wrong. But yeah, I agree with you. I'd like to
I
get
get
it
stuff
right.
wrong literally all the time, and I welcome people to come on here and correct me because I like mostly I'm just asking questions all the time because I'm like, what the? I just want to like know what the truth is because like okay, so for example, I was reading where they were talking to the FBI agent who wrote up the Ron Logan search warrant, and they're asking her like where she got the information for the details in there. And one of the places she said she got the details was the bridge guy video. And so they were like, do you want to watch it again since it's been so long? And she was saying that she couldn't recall. And her lawyer, which I think is like the attorney general or something, was like, no, she's only here for like this very strict line of questioning. And I was thinking, like, that's weird. Like, don't they want her to be able to answer these questions in the most, like, truthful, complete way as possible, But they don't,
No, they just want
Weird.
to cover their own ass most of the time. Seems like it.
It's not even that. I think the FBI kind of doesn't necessarily work with, certainly not the defense, but not even law enforcement in the way that you would imagine that they would.
So, do either of you have a theory of what happened with the crime?
I have no idea.
I have a few, but not just one. Like, my theory would be more like, I won't say names of those other guys, but let's say one of them in the blue coat came this way, and the other one with the big baggy eyes at the mailbox came from behind, got them down, kind of corralled them, got them down the hill to say a third or fourth guy in a car and took them away, in my opinion. And then, who knows what, where and when, what happened, but I don't believe they crossed the creek like that, or Weber. I don't believe any of that. And that they were taken elsewhere, and maybe later on at midnight or whatever, something happened, Odin or not related, and they came back and dropped them down through the cemetery. In my opinion,
it's pretty interesting that Garrett Kurtz is directly tied to Ron Logan's property and also killed two people for sure, like preference of the throat and also like Max Snowberger. And I'm not saying these people like to put any heat on them. It's just like stuff that's already been out in the case, and definitely I have no idea. It's probably Richard Allen. We'll go with that. But like, if it was not to be him, I could see it being like some sort of like prank type of a thing that just like went too far, and maybe like one of the girls got hurt, and so then they offed the other one and tried to like set it up to look like something so they would not get in trouble or something like that. I don't know.
Staging. You think that maybe it was staged?
Yeah.
But either way, staging, posing fantasy, or staging misdirection, or whatever the undoing is, whatever you think of it, it was present, and Turco said it was present, and he just didn't know to what extent, right? But then Holman says, oh, Turco says it wasn't present, and that's what he used to clear Holder. So basically, Holman's clearing a guy who Turco really said is the exact type of guy who would have done this, and then they're going clear Holder. That's weird.
Well, with all of these things like the children hazing and all of these other theories, even Rick, I mean, you still have to account for Elvis Fields describing the crime scene and describing the staging. Then there's Gull's behavior. Then there's law enforcement's behavior. Then there's the involvement of every three-letter agency that we have. Yeah, I mean, it's just the list goes on. Then there's the bodies that are stacking up before and since the murders.
Right. Yep.
There's just a lot of things that most theories don't really account for. The lost evidence.
Well, I feel totally comfortable with that that Steve Mullins like didn't know what the fuck he was doing with the recorder, and that like they genuinely just didn't fix it or go back and try to like actually find actual evidence, because I really feel like they weren't actually fucking investigating the whole time when they were acting like they were. They really weren't. I mean, they did. Also, we only know like these few things that have come out of the discovery, but there's plenty of other scenarios and shit. So it makes me feel uncomfortable that they don't have any like DNA, that they don't have any like digital connection really, or even footprint for like Richard Allen. Like those things make me feel uncomfortable about it. That they didn't find him from his car beforehand makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't know.
Very uncomfortable. Yes.
We
True.
do have DNA. We do have footprints.
Mm-hmm.
We do have phone data and geofence data. It's just none of that points to Richard Allen.
But also, wait a second, with the footprints, did you hear Jerry Holman in his deposition? Holman says there was so many footprints, they didn't bother collecting them or doing anything with it. And I'm not saying they should have to go and run those casts and make every footprint, but wouldn't you, I would hire
I think they should
an
have
indigenous
to.
guy or a tracker, an indigenous guy or a tracker or a hillbilly. I would come in and say, hey, we got all these searchers here. You come here and meet at this day and, look at this area. What do you think happened here? And the searchers will say, well, these are my footprints, so let's rule them out. These are my footprints. But then who is this guy? And the tracker would look at it and see branches that were crushed. He'd be able to kind of give him an idea with all those footprints. So I was weirded out when Jerry Holman said there was so many footprints, we didn't bother doing anything about it.
They called off the dogs too. They did like everything.
Yeah. That's weird.
Wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I think,
and go on.
I'm just gonna say, I think the only thing that like I really feel strongly about was the girls left the area and didn't die when they said they did.
Well, I believe you in that, because imagine them. Okay, so imagine they realize they're missing 6 or 7, and they start searching, right? So they got a couple hours of daylight, and then so 50, 100, even 20 or 30 family members and professional searchers and law enforcement know their last known location was the end of that bridge. Their bodies are 600 feet away, and then for 22 hours they all walk around and fucking nobody finds them laying there out in the open. That's crazy.
Well,
totally unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, but also to think of them bringing them back to that location is also a little bit unbelievable, unless they were at
Right.
Ron Logan's house. I
Right.
could see that being the case, is if they were actually being held at Ron Logan's house or Brad Weber's house or something, and then they dumped him. But any further than that, I feel is getting into territory where it'd be very difficult to fucking
right. To know there's a search going on in that area, and to think these guys are brave enough to come back and dump their bodies there is really weird. But also, they called the search off, so maybe they heard the search was off and nobody was there. So none of it makes sense. So we're trying to make sense of, I think, a fairy tale, in my opinion. That's why we sound funny.
I don't know, man.
I think if you go back through, and I think what Shibby's doing is interesting. He's just going through all the docs and reading them. But what happened to me when I read all of those was, I became much more impressed with the defense team, specifically because they're really good at leaving you with an impression without ever saying anything. They just kind of ask questions like, "Hey, does Doug Carter normally handle the press, like he did in this case?"
Oh, exactly. Do they fucking travel around and go on fucking shows with the fucking family? Dr.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
What was it, Dr. Phil? And they went on a cruise. What did they go, cruises?
Dr. Oz.
Crime Con? Oh yeah, they were on stages at CrimeCon 4 or 5 years in a row, and
or Doug Carter fucking and Kelsey like alone in her apartment, like doing a podcast.
the interview,
That one
yeah.
was awkward, or like that
Yeah.
seemed weird to me.
Very.
So he asks these kind of questions, and he asks, he really toned in on, like, or not toned in, but focused in at one point on, what agencies were involved, who kicked them off, when they got kicked off, that sort of thing. He asks questions about Messer. He asks questions about, Elvis Fields. You can kind of see what Baldwin's theory, or even the defense's theory of the crime, is just by the questions they're asking the cops.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really trying to get the cops in the depositions to start thinking for once. And I don't know if they
Baldwin's,
realized that they were up
begging them
against
to
some
actually
people who had
solve it.
already made up their minds. But reading it, you can tell they were trying to get these guys to think about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think Baldwin truly, it was like begging them to like do their fucking job. And he was like, I'm giving up our whole theory of the case, which like I'm the worst defense attorney for doing this, But like if you think about it, they're the only ones who like had a clear picture of the entire case to like look at. And like they the way Baldwin's like office works is they have like multiple attorneys, and they also teach like other attorneys like on a bigger scale. But like he's very about like collaborative work, and so like I feel like that's probably what ended up getting those crime scene photos taken or whatever, is because they probably had like a room where it was all laid out, and like I think that's like what they came upon. Like I was like, dude, I think they're gonna actually fucking solve this shit, But
So
well, I haven't a thought about the crime scene photos. Picture Westerman. I think Westerman took a fall for them and said he did all that, and I think Baldwin wanted him to say that to get him. And Holman took the bait and charged Westerman because that made Baldwin a victim of a crime, and so they couldn't, because if Westerman did that to Baldwin, right, it makes Baldwin a victim, and B, Westerman, the lawyer that represented Westerman, was Baldwin's associate. Therefore, when the trial of the century happened, he took it to trial, and they probably thought he would never do that. Westerman goes in there, and then the prosecutor is linked with Nick. So then Holman would have had to give that prosecutor all his discovery on the photograph.
Just decided to off himself like on the side.
But then Baldwin would advise Westerman's lawyer, who was his partner, and then he would get all of that himself. That's what I think.
Baldwin was friends with him and said like, so like he definitely would have his back either way, because like he worked with him and stuff, and like I think he was like asking for his opinion on the Franks. You know what I mean? Because Westerman used to work at that office, and that's how they all worked, was like in a collaborative way.
So it's never good for your client to have murder photos out there.
But like, also think about if those photos had not been leaked, we still to this day would not know what they look like, and like, which I don't think we necessarily know exactly what it looks like still, but we would have nothing to go on, because the bridge guy video that was leaked, and also the crime scene photos were also leaked. Like those were not released by the court.
There's just so much there, and I can see why people might think that Baldwin would be cool with that, but
I'll tell you what I think.
I'll just tell you right now that Baldwin would never be cool with that.
Right, which lends to the word, because I know of many creators in the beginning of 2023, way before all this, in the end, Chris Todd at the end of December 2022, and in the beginning of January, a few others, I won't really name their names, but four or five other ones, were talking about crime scene photos of the bodies being available way before all of this, in the beginning of 2023. So then if Westerman lied and took one for the team, then Baldwin would be able to get all that information. I think that's what happened, in my
We
opinion.
can hold it down. It's up to us, Shibby.
Oh, what are you talking about? Oh, she had to go? Or her
Oh,
cat
yeah,
was
I mean,
meowing? Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you see what I'm saying? I'll mention the names because I have it on video and their live streams. Frank Meister, Sleuth Intuition, Murder Sheet, Marv, and the Prosecutors Podcast put out tweets all in early January 2023 about there being people contacting them and offering crime scene body photos. And Frank Meister saying, "Ooh, in 2 weeks they're going to drop." And then all of a sudden it all stops. And then McClelland puts his little motion for discovery out on to say if the defense does anything wrong, I'm going to hand them their ass. So I think that was a whole prelude to setting up this whole photo leak and blaming it on the defense.
Love and Light, if you can see in the chat, I think she's got an interesting point there.
What was it? I go back.
She just says Fig, and I'm not sure Fig's involvement. I don't know all of it, but
Well, his involvement was forget about if it wasn't for the photos, but beforehand, do you remember when Fig got the bullet information before the public had that?
Yeah. Well, what I don't know is apparently he had catfished one of the private investigation firms, the one that had hired Christine and Erica. He catfished their boss.
Wow.
Pretty hard, I guess. And if he's working for Nick, I'm just wondering if there's some kind of ethical breach there. I mean, it sounds like an ethical breach. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, when like Fig affiliated people or Murder Sheet or some of these other people follow me on X, I block them immediately.
Prosecutors Podcast?
Immediately. They've never followed me.
Oh. So I'll say something with the see-through says the clothes in the creek were definitely out. Chris Todd had those. Well, even before all of that was that Gavin Fish guy. He put out a video of the clothes in the creek. He's the one that months before even the gag order and before.
Veronica had seen pictures on someone's phone. Look, you had all those searchers. You had you had a small town. There's zero chance that those pictures weren't floating around.
Right. Yeah,
it just was, and it's sad.
Well, that's the whole reason Gull could not remove them in the contempt hearing or the IC. Gull wanted to have the defense removed, right? But there's no way after Hennessy presented all the evidence that the IC could go along with that because they have evidence of Jerry Holman, Dave Vito, Nick McClelland, Becky Patty, and all these people violating the gag order afterwards. And they're trying to nail Baldwin and Rosie for these photos getting out and an email that was accidentally sent to the wrong person. So that's why there were, all these other YouTubers actually saved the defense, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they were sitting on their live streams. I can point out to you 10 different live streams where in January of the early 2023, this person says today on a live stream, so you can look at the date, let's say January of 2023. So it's in the middle of the gag order. It's a live stream posted. And that person says, today I talked to Becky Patty and I asked her about, is Abby wearing a tie-dye shirt also? And she said yes or no. And then today, another month later, during the gag order, they said, I talked to McClelland's office today and they said this to me. And I talked with Holman today and he told me this and answered this. And they're all gag order violations. And they're admitting it on their live streams, which is 100% unequivocal proof that those people were violating the gag order. So these YouTubers all saved. They thought Fig thought he was trolling the defense. And I told Fig when this all came out in a live stream that I said, Fig, you trolled McClelland. The defense thanks you for your service. And he fucking hid me. He blocked me from that person's channel. He was a mod. That day they were reading Hennessy's content stuff. It was fucking hilarious.
That's good. Who was it here? I think it's Love and Light says that Jensen was also or is involved in the Summers Wells case. I don't know if anybody's talked to Jensen about that. I would love to talk to him about that whole situation.
I don't know if you know, Love and Light is also TJ. So if you see anybody saying TJ, that's Love and Light. Love and Light for All is TJ. Also, that's her kind of name. Yeah.
Okay,
So
I'm back. Thank you very much.
That's no problem.
What happened? Did you get your cat bugging you or what?
Yeah, my cat wanted out, but then it's like rainy outside, so he didn't actually want to go out. And then I also had to use the restroom. So,
well, we held it down. You owe us.
Yeah, his chat's been holding it down too. Have you
TJ Trial Junkie? That's why. Sorry.
So don't hate. Okay, you're a fishy. What is? Did you just go by fishy? That's your name?
oh, it's like I have my other accounts like Big Fish Small Pond, so I usually chat on that one.
Yeah.
And
okay.
then,
so you're kind of anonymous.
I was until actually Ruckus outed me, like but I used to be like get a lot more mouthy with my other account because nobody knew who I was. But yeah.
So you were using them both, but nobody knew you were linked.
No, I was
so
like
I
would chat and stuff on the Big Fish Small Pond, and that's like an account that's like under my baby's dad's account, and it has premium, so I just use that because I don't want to listen to like the commercials and stuff.
Oh.
And then I would just post from this one, but I wouldn't really chat with this one.
Oh, Chris Todd. I remember Chris Todd. So Digital's talking about Chris Todd or someone is sees through. And they're talking about Chris Todd and the Chris Todd was the guy that like said he had solved everything and wrote a book that I never bought and never will read. Yeah.
Are we sure about that? Because Chris Todd was talking about it on Court TV, right? In late December of 2022.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Gavin Fish put out his video. Gavin Fish put out his video of those crime scene photos of all the stuff and clothes and the shoes. He put that out months before that. So
Chris Todd spoke with the girl's uncle, Eric Erskine, I think. I have like the interview that little Frankie did with him on my channel, and he was friends with Arlo or Olo, or I can't remember the guy's name.
But now you have to be careful. Wait, you have to be careful because it wasn't Erskine. Erskine was. It was Eric Williams, I think, that called into little Frankie, wasn't it? Because I did this mistake before
Erskine,
too.
It was Erskine, which is Anna, is Anna, Abby's mom's stepbrother or something through marriage.
All right. But I believe it might have been. Was it the guy that was on the news saying that they haven't found the bodies yet? Okay. That was Eric Williams.
He also did an interview with that guy, but
okay, my mistake. Sorry, go on. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you weren't conflating the two. Sorry.
No, I'm not. It's and the I think the Elo guy that like actually took the pictures, and I think they were actually the first ones to locate the girls, which is not like what they said in court, but yeah, I'm not sure.
So let me clear something up and ask a question at the same time. Okay. So Love and Light asks, Mark Robert Cohen says he had them first and he got them from Robert Fortson. Robert Fortson got pictures of pictures, right? They were taken surreptitiously, so they were laid out on a table and he took pictures of them, correct?
Wait, 1 sec, Josh. 1 sec. I think we need to be wait. We need to be specific here because we're talking about
we're talking about the leaked pictures of the girls now, but also like the pictures that Gavin Fish had were pictures of clothes in the water. So yeah, you're right. We probably
need to be specific here. Because there was Gavin Fish put out all they were technically crime scene photos of the clothes and shoes and maybe a scarf and the bandana or whatever it was.
Yes.
And then later on, they were talking about body photos. So that's why when I say it, I always make sure to talk about adding the body crime scene photos when you're talking about them to be specific.
Yeah,
that's all.
Got it. Check. That
So I was just
that's
wondering,
important
have
to be
we
clear.
seen any leaks of actual discovery photos?
Well, Holman talked about there was in the very, very, very beginning. He said there was talk of Holman in the early year of this, talking about his searchers taking photos and somebody getting them out in the very beginning.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that dude would have taken pictures of the actual bodies, because I feel like that was I think through marriage he's like related to Anna Williams, but I'm not sure if he would have actually taken body pictures, but I know that he is the source of like the ones that were in the creek. Also there was the photographer KKK Keegan Corrigan Klein or something, or not Klein. What the fuck?
Also, hey, you know what?
Kyle Keaton. That's his name. J. Kyle Keaton, the photographer for the
the
paper.
comet.
He also
Zero
took
comet.
pictures.
But also, one thing I'd like to add is make sure everyone's very clear that Holman and them are getting off on a semantics, because some of those photos that the searchers took of the crime scene, they don't call them crime scene photos because they weren't officially taken by their crime scene investigators. You get that? So don't let them get off on that. That's all I'm trying to throw in too.
Well, I think a lot of these issues, and I just think a lot of these issues are going to find their way into the appeal. Like this document that they're talking about, the oversized brief, I can't wait to read that. Like there's nothing I want to read more.
That'll have
I
to be
read
soon,
the
right?
Franks and I learn, I kind of pick up a little bit of something new every time.
Yeah.
The depositions are like that now as well. The depositions, let me tell you. Those depositions are fire.
I read through Jerry's depositions, and I think it took me 13 hours and 3 different live streams to cover just his. So, and every time I read it, it's like I literally learn new stuff or put more stuff together now. It's amazing. You're right. I agree with you.
Hi, Beasley Drummond. I don't know if I've seen your name before. Nice to meet you.
It really is so annoying how YouTube decided to switch the names to
the handles.
It's just confusing.
No, it's not. No, I got lucky because I'll tell this every time. I kept playing with them at the very beginning, and I didn't know. I got lucky. I made mine both the exact same. So all this times, if it ever switches from handles to usernames, mine are both exactly the same. So that's why I ended
what
up with
happened
those
is
underscores.
YouTube asks you to add on the @ symbol a little
that's
while
different.
ago. I don't even remember. But if you had your channel for a long
always
time,
been there. No,
it hasn't always been there because I had to add mine in.
Well, okay. I've always had it ever since I've been here. Last 3 years, I've had a username and a handle, and luckily, I made mine both the same. So whenever YouTube started presenting the handles, everyone looked different, right? But mine was the exact same. So I don't know how long you've been on doing that, but for the last 3 years, I've always had a username and a handle, and I made them both the same.
Forward-thinking shibby.
I got lucky, and then I tell people it's all because how thoughtful and how thoughtful and smart I am, because I didn't want to confuse them. Meanwhile, I had no idea any of this was going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm full of it all the time. Just know that.
So on the other end of that, I've had, I don't know, 5 or 6 different accounts since this whole thing started, and yeah. So I think early on I was Low Light, and then I was the Virtue Signal. And then, I forget what else I was, but then I was something else. And then, I was Noble Lie. And then I got a source that was pretty good. And they were going to start answering questions for me. And I was going to start, publishing some information. And so I started going by my real name. And then they got quiet. So I'm out here with my real name. And, yeah, so. Oh well.
Yeah, no, I have my name on my channel too. If you go to my channel page, to my banner thing, I don't even care.
Yeah.
I figure if you're going to talk about other people's personal lives, then you kind of have to like expect that maybe somebody wants to talk about yours, which like I have plenty of crap to talk about if anybody wants to.
I tell you what, like Delphi is just one of like the Delphi's been actually kind of gentle with me, like compared to other people. Other people have just been like waylaid. The one that really got me like seriously, like I got like people following me and stuff was this guy out of Nashville, Tennessee. He's this reporter that covers for a lot of child trafficking and stuff. And I mean, I won't even say his name right now, but yeah, I got in a lot of trouble. So I had to dial everything back to just do Delphi because
in this case or a different case?
In a different case, like I had to really only focus on Delphi because there was just too much stuff going on. Like everything else was too politically charged. Like one was trafficking out of Nashville that was linked to political people. Another was the Springfield Haitian thing. Then what was a couple others? I don't know. There was a Professor Zuzin out of Cornell University.
Now that you say that, it reminds me of the head of the FBI when this case first started was Jay Abbott, I think.
Oh, yes.
And he was tied to the Olympic scandal with Larry Nassar, I think his name is.
You haven't seen my X account, have you?
And then and like he ignored that, like actively ignored them reporting that.
Oh yeah.
Because he wanted a job there. And then also like something that always concerned me that has to do with like the fires is the judge that is Stephanie Thompson or whatever. I think it's her husband is like the judge for CPS, which like is they can take
and he was away on some he was away on a vacation when that happened to her and his daughter.
And then also that chick Jade who was talking about what's his name? Judge Fouts. Yeah, it all gets super twisted if you really go down it,
But also
that's like one of the difficult things about this case is everywhere you look, there's a crime that should have been investigated. Just about,
Now,
also
there was
serious criminal activity.
The judge where the car fell on him, he was related somehow with one. He convicted somebody that was related to this. Someone.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like I've done a lot of work connecting bodies to this case. The judge with the falling car is one that I have not. Also, there's Stacy Cole, I think. So there was really early on, there's this really interesting amount of disinformation that has been, it may or may not be disinformation that has hit the web about a couple different people.
I read
one of the first ones to hit Reddit was March of 2017. Somebody made a claim that there was a 911 call made about horror screams and that the police didn't take it. Now that call got stuck
at 2 a.m. in the morning.
That call got stuck on a girl who got shot in the head by her boyfriend. And I have not been able to actually confirm that call. So if anybody can confirm that call at all, I've been unable to.
Some of that I can kind of now. It's maybe not related, but I heard on another creator show about maybe 2 years ago. And it was in their members section only, and I won't say it right now. Maybe I'll email you. But there was also a 911 call about somebody going back to get a phone because they heard the screams or something at 2 a.m. And then I heard what I at the time was told was radio traffic of the officers talking about it in Delphi, and they sent back that fireman guy who they said was also caught on the trail cam.
Well, I would love to hear that.
There was chatter. There was radio chatter of them. I think it was Tobe Leesenby sending back that fireman guy to get a phone at 2 a.m. because of a 911 call.
I would love to hear
I'll
that.
send you an email of I don't know if they still have it up, but I heard it, and they actually had the radio chatter of them talking about it, the police officers.
Because I've been able to almost connect that death to the crime based on her boyfriend, because I think he's interesting.
Okay, well, I'll reply to your last email,
Okay.
and I'll let you know of the creator and about the time, and you might have to. I don't know if they still have it up. It was in their members section too. So.
Okay, that's cool.
All right,
that's cool.
Well, and like I would normally think like that's fucking wild to think that like anything would go up like to judges and shit like that until like all that Epstein shit came out, and I was like, damn, like that's fucking wild. Like it's definitely like I think our government is like trafficking children for or I don't know exactly like what is going on, but
you want to see something that'll really blow your mind? Go look at the Governor Whitmer kidnapping case.
Wow, all these tentacles, eh? Wow.
Well, I mean, it just shows you how certain people will behave. Like the FBI trained witnesses, and the judge colluded to keep witnesses from admitting that the FBI was involved in the case.
Yeah.
Well, the link is there's all these children cases involved with all these people, and all this not cult symbolism, and they're all trying to say, oh, it's just satanic panic. Don't buy it all. But I'm constantly seeing stuff about this, and so I mean, not to panic, but I mean, it's happening, and they're pretending like it's not.
Well, it doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to be like an actual like sacrifice. It could just be like people like Patrick Westphal or even their kids, who
fanboys
did that, and then not even fanboys, but they did that, and then they just like that's something they're messing around with, so they added that to it, you know.
Meth-induced psychosis with bastardizing the Odinism religion and stealing, cherry picking from all of them and kind of making up their own shit. Part of it too.
So there was another story, and Digital's got some information here in the chat, but there was another story about a person with a ski mask appearing in somebody's window, something like that. Do you remember that?
I do. I know all about that too. That was
supposed to be video. I have a video on that as well, and it's Farmer and Aspen. Aspen actually knows a shit ton about Keegan Kline and like what went on in Vegas, and Keegan Kline's neighbor. He knows all about that. He talked to all those people. I don't really talk to him because he's kind of like on the other side, and like I reached out to a couple of them a couple times to try to get them together, like which is always a disaster. Like fucking I think we did 2 debates. One of them was like T and Ruckus, and one of them was Fiend and Mark, and they're on Blue Eyed Truckers channel. I'll link them. But like anytime you're trying to get both sides to do anything, it's fucking wild. But so Aspen doesn't really talk to me, but if anybody does talk to him, he knows all about all those people.
I think the only person that I can really talk to on the other side is Cryptix.
Other side, Cryptix?
Yeah, he's not really on the other side. I wouldn't consider
well,
him.
He believes that Richard Allen is guilty.
He does. Yeah, I guess so.
But I don't think he's the other side because he's then he's no side because he's all over the state too, right? So
I love Cryptix.
How fucked up. I never thought he was the other side, but I guess I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. Ignore me.
Cryptix is a good guy though. Like shout out to him.
Yeah, I was just on his show the other day for like an hour.
All right, KDB.
Yeah. Oh, I talked to Aspen. Yeah, where's he been? I haven't seen him for a while. Sure, Richard Allen's guilty. We agree. He was convicted in a court of law.
Like
you said beforehand,
I don't know. I have a hard time with even thinking that at this point people can look at Richard Allen and say that he's guilty.
I mean, but literally, he was convicted in a court of law. Just like beforehand, those people would never have said he was innocent, even though he was literally innocent because he hadn't been convicted yet. There's like, terminology here.
We haven't even had a juror come on screen and admit that they think Richard Allen was guilty and why they, right? He's not bridge guy.
Ooh,
that is just
KB,
so.
You see him as bridge guy, eh? Well, you should call the state because none of them can see it. None of them are positive it's bridge guy.
I'm having one of my brain moments. It's gone. Where was I?
So, hey, wait, if Bridge Guy did it, then who was the tan coat guy that Sarah Carbaugh saw? Was that Bridge Guy?
Should we
Where'd you get
calm down? People are allowed to say what they think. It's fine.
No, and I'm just asking a question. I'm not saying
I know,
anything.
but I'm telling you to calm the fuck down and to ask your questions nicely.
All right,
That's
all
what
right.
I'm telling you.
I'll calm down if you calm down.
Digital.
I'm calm.
Where is Greeno lately?
I don't know, but have you ever seen the live or that me and Sterling did, and we were like thinking of questions to ask Rita? It's hilarious. It's like so
I've got to
funny.
see that.
Oh
I'll
my
have
gosh!
I'll have to go back and watch. There's a lot of content on, this, which is
None of
nice,
it's like none of it's serious, or will tell you anything about the case. Just Sterling is very funny, and I love him.
Yeah, I don't know if I know Sterling.
Yeah, he's kind of like a more of a quieter one, but like he definitely goes back to the beginning, and like him and Greeno are pretty good friends. Like I don't know, I like Greeno, but he's also got his own. Everybody's got their own issues, though. You kind of just have to like accept people as they are.
I think I did the very first live I ever saw you on was on Rumble, and I was lurking, and it was with you and Dan and a couple other people.
Oh, Dan does stream to like different. I miss Dan.
Whatever happened to Dan?
I don't know. I mean, nothing. Dan's around, but he's around and about. He just doesn't really talk to me, I guess. So
you believe then that Richard Allen's guilty, or?
I do. Honestly, I don't feel like they have proved that he's guilty. Like I don't feel comfortable like saying that no. I'm not a Richard Allen fan. That's for sure. Like I'm not like I have no connection. I'm not like personally like, oh, I love Rick or anything like that. I'm totally fine with it being him. I just don't think that they presented a case
I want to
like
I really want to address this really quick. Katie B, yes. I have never visited Rick, can't visit Rick, but I've sent him mail after mail after mail. When nobody could, quote unquote, seem to locate him, I found him in minutes. And we're all, lots of us have sent him mail. We support him in all kinds of ways. We just don't brag about it. And no, this whole thing about everybody is milking this for money, I haven't made a fucking dime. I've lost thousands of dollars on this case.
And can I address Kate?
Here you go,
I'm not
Kate.
a fan of Richard Allen.
Oh, hold on, Kate. You're disagreeing with the police now, Kate. They've said that he's not a pedophile. You're out of your mind, and you're a liar. So. There you go.
Instead of telling me to be quiet, maybe you should quiet somebody else here in the chat because they're going off about dumb shit.
I feel like people are allowed to say what they think without it like personally getting to me. Like
let her ruin your chat. Go ahead.
She's not ruining the.
No, I don't think she's ruining the chat. I just feel like I need to at least respond if she's.
Yeah, no, you're welcome to respond. I'm just saying also like should be like
I'll respond
in order to allow both sides. You have to be
but here so what is it? You say both sides, but here's a person like saying things that are demonstrably false, like that he sexually assaulted two underage girls. That never happened. Yeah, that is demonstrably false.
Well, I think what she's saying is that like the girl, like at least one of the girls was found naked, right? And so if
you're putting words in her mouth. Now you're trying to. Now you're
I'm not trying to. I'm saying this is my impression of what she is saying. I don't know if this is fact or not, but like, I also think that people say a lot of stuff that isn't fact, and
right.
I don't know.
TJ's
you guys, You guys got it, I think.
Yeah, you don't give two shits about the Constitution.
Well, that's just
Not you, not who. I'm talking
no. I
to
know.
you,
I know.
her last comment, because she's calling me a fan of Richard Allen when all I'm saying is he didn't get a fair trial. How can you tell he's guilty? That's all I'm saying.
So where I will 100% agree here is that this will just evolve into talking with someone who clearly knows nothing about the crime. Because they just said that it was sexually motivated. This person is literally here just to disturb, and that's
no.
all.
I think Jerry Holman actually said that as well, and so I don't think that they're like intentionally trying to, like. I mean, I think they maybe are trying to get at you guys, but because some of the stuff they say is not the most polite. So Katie, be nice. But also, like, you guys are fine, right? Like you're saying stuff they don't like to hear, and they're saying stuff you don't like to hear, but it's just words.
But I'm not spreading misinformation and labeling them as something they're not.
Or I would say that they are going to say that.
Like, we've demonstrated that, like, this person or just people that generally think Richard Allen is not guilty completely ignore the vast sums of data.
Well, how do you expect those people to be able to hear any part of what you guys say is
at this point? I don't, because they're the kind of person who doesn't do that.
I mean, I think that's like a blanket statement, and I think that most people are. I have friends on both sides, and I know that all of them are like want the right person to be in jail. And like, if you think about it, as these people believe that Richard Allen is the guy, then like, hell yeah, like I would say a lot of mean shit about it too, but like, you know.
Yep.
So anyhow, I'm just not going to look at it. It's just,
that's probably the best way.
Like,
oh boy, calculus and physics and chemistry. Kate B, stop it. Yeah, you're smart. We're dumb. Okay, we get it.
Yeah. People use this term pedophile like it's a thing that is, broadly distributed around the population. A pedophile is like prepubescent.
Fishy, honestly, your chat's going to blow up soon if you don't take care of that. That's all I'm saying.
I literally do this every single time. Like I bring people from both sides onto the panel.
But that's not. Well,
that's fine.
I see, but that's not what's happening here. This person's blowing up your chat with a bunch of dumb shit.
I think you're just ignore it and it goes away. Like if it bothers you, that just don't.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very good. Yeah. So
I'm not ignoring what she's saying. She's saying some dumb shit. Calculus. What the fuck does calculus and chemistry and physics have to do with this? Why are they doing that? What? Me?
Just people are allowed to, like, it's just words. Like, it's just people are allowed to say what they want to say. It doesn't really like.
Whatever. All right, you're right.
So I feel very comfortable. Like if say tomorrow, you were to come out with you got a leak and it was bombshell information that proved Richard Allen was guilty. I feel incredibly comfortable with everything that I have done thus far because the state of Indiana has put me in this position. They have put me in a position where I don't believe a word they say because we found them lying repeatedly. They have withheld exculpatory evidence from the defense multiple times. They have lied in court. They have colluded with a judge to do all kinds of things. And if you tomorrow proved me wrong, I would feel totally okay with it. If Richard Allen is guilty, let him burn. But I've seen nothing. And here's the thing, you don't need to lie.
Fishy.
Right? I mean, it's like if you're going to create a scenario where the state has to lie in order to put Richard Allen in jail, then you're incriminating all kinds of other people in the state. And then in the system.
Like just withholding like a valid defense, I think is that's not cool. And like I'm in no way a Richard Allen like fangirl, but I am a fan of fair trials, and I'm totally like, I purposely don't take like a stance on that because then I don't get like emotionally like linked to that position. And I actually spend a lot of time in like pro prosecution around those people to try to like brainwash myself into believing that it's him. I mean, his defense, like, you're allowed to have a defense. Like, he wasn't really allowed to have any defense.
Jesus Christ.
I think like I agree with you that like Kelsey has really valid reasons maybe to lie. You know, maybe she as a teenager didn't want people finding certain things out, right? And you know, people talk about Rick Allen, you know, said this or that about his phone or his him being on the bridge. First of all, he was looking back 5 years before, and I think he said, I don't know, I might have been on my phone checking stocks.
Well,
I might have
memory
been out there
works,
looking at
like,
fish.
memory doesn't
But when
work
he
the way you think it
lied
does.
about being on the bridge, I can think of several reasons why a guy who's almost 50 would lie to his wife about walking across part of that bridge. Right? So, like, I have no real problem with that. And it doesn't have to be murder. It's just safety. Like, no wife who's got, you know, they're sharing a child, you know, no wife is going to want their husband to go, who's in his kind of shape, to go walking across that bridge.
Well, there was multiple people like in that exact area on the bridge, around the bridge, like during the time, and not all of them saw each other. And so, like, that's just not enough for me whatsoever. And like, also, people like miscommunicate. Like, a lot of times, me and my baby's dad, we think we're like talking about the same thing, but like later on, like he'll say something, I'll be like, what, when did you hear that? Or like, when did I say that? And it's not that like I didn't say it, or like it's just communication gets mixed up. It's just a fact of life. None of them were dressed like Richard Allen. Literally everybody dresses like that. Like, everybody.
It is interesting though that Rick had a Carhartt in that thing, that pullover that looks, I mean, it almost looks like a windbreaker, like a shell kind of.
It does.
It doesn't look like a Carhartt to me.
That's the actual bridge guy. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. It is funny.
So what about the tan coat though? I would like to know about the tan coat that Sarah Carbaugh saw.
Wasn't Sarah Carbaugh muddy and bloody?
No, Sarah Carbaugh was muddy, and the guy looked like he was in a fight or disheveled. She never said bloody in the beginning. It was like the second or third one, and at trial, she's now saying bloody. It looked like he just cut up a pig. But Liggett, in the very beginning in the PCA, he turned the tan coat to blue because obviously Betsy Blair saw a guy in a blue coat, so it had to be a blue coat plus the video. And Liggett changed her tan coat to blue and added bloody because she said he looked like he may have been in a fight with some mud on him. So Liggett assumed, hey, if you've been in a fight and you must have had blood on you. So Liggett he inferred bloody.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
Okay, so Fishy, you, like you were saying, you are really open to Rick being guilty, but you just don't feel like they really proved it. Do you feel like they have some information that they're not telling the rest of us?
No, I don't. I think what happened was that Jerry Holman like got upset, and he genuinely believes that, like, in my situation, I would say like nobody is like intentionally setting Rick Allen up. It's just like that somehow this tip got lost, quote unquote, and marked as clear, which, like, why does it say cleared? And also it was obviously in the Orion system, so that part is like murky to me. But I feel like other than that, everything did come across that way. But like, if the car was such a clear match and it's the only one in Delphi, then whether they had Richard Allen's statement or not, they should have come across him just in the natural process of their investigation. So obviously it's not that clear of a picture of the car. And then also, like, or I think it's funny, Katie, that you say Richard Allen is a proven liar, but you take him at his word that that's how he was dressed, which is just wild to me. Because if he's the guy, he would know exactly what time to say he wasn't there and exactly what to say he wasn't wearing. So, like, why would he
Oh
change
boy.
the time
Read that
and
last
then
comment. Read that
also
last
freaking
comment.
lie? And then, as far, yeah, Katie, like, you are put in
Fishy.
solitary for like a long time, and anybody will lose their fucking mind. It's like,
Yeah.
it is like, it's fucked up. It's pretty sad. And honestly,
Fishy.
like, on that note,
Katie
I don't care
passed
if he is
chemistry.
the one. I don't care if he is the one or not. I think we need prison reform because that shit's fucked up.
Well, I think what we're dealing with here is just a very cruel person.
Nobody
Right.
in
So
solitary.
like you
Yeah,
do
they
have
do
people
actually.
that are on this case.
People in solitary do that. Like,
Yeah.
they throw poop. It's like,
Yeah.
it's actually a thing.
An innocent until proven guilty guy on pretrial detainment was fucking tortured.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just that. Okay, there's a documentary. It's called like Red Onion Prison, and I highly recommend you watch that. Just like watch the entire thing all the way through. It's about like maximum security solitary, and like those people are all guilty and they've done fucked up shit, but it still makes me cry because it's just fucked up. It's like, fucking, if we're gonna do that shit to them, we should just like probably just kill them because they try to kill themselves multiple times. It's just fucked up, dude.
Well, you know what? They don't even treat Guantanamo Bay terrorists like Richard Allen was treated, with the lights on 24/7 and screaming baby killer all night long, and half the shit we probably don't know what they did. That this person is a cold, callous, sadistic, unempathetic human being, and you should just get rid of them because they're ruining your chat. But this is my opinion. Because hey, wait,
Like,
what?
Hey, calm down. For one,
No,
like, don't attack people. Attack their. No, I'm telling you,
listen,
I'm not gonna fucking
listen.
take them out of the chat. So just fucking deal with it.
Well, okay.
And, like,
so let me add this. Wait, Fishy, you blocked somebody from my chat for saying 1/10 of this. Can you explain?
I didn't block them. I timed them out for
you hit them.
30 seconds. I timed them out.
Okay. Well, you did that. Yeah. You did that, right? For what?
Yeah.
They weren't saying anything. So have you timed this person out for 35 seconds? Because they've said way more. That's all. I'm here. I'm sorry.
How are you?
I'm here, and
none of my mods are in here, and I can't time them out. I can like do on StreamYard or whatever, but it'll just
perfect. I'm just saying, if you disappear that person, your chat will be amazing again. You just watch. But hey, it's fine. It's your channel, and I really respect you, and I'm so glad to see you're back. And thank you for having me. I'm very sorry.
For one, a lot of people that are on the other side, like, they're my actual friends. Like, we play, like, we talk on like a bigger case. That's
not other side. Don't label me as that. What she was saying about is the other side talk about chemistry and all that, how dumb we are because we can't do chemistry and calculus and physics. Come on, that's not other side stuff.
Me and Dan like have argued about all kinds of shit, like, to the extreme for like a long time.
Wait a second. Also, Kate, chat numbers went up because I posted this on my site and I asked all my people to come here. So whoever, Kate, you think you're bringing people to chat, I think if we disappear you, the numbers will go double, way up. That's my opinion.
We're not disappearing anyone. You sound like a fucking mafia person.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Well, you should, because this person's saying the chat numbers went up after I came, dumbass. And I'm saying no, the chat numbers, because
in what world is Shibby more controversial than I am? I can't believe this. Like, what the hell?
I got stuff to do anyways. So
even on
I got my own live stream I was gonna do, so where this kind of stuff doesn't happen. So thanks for having me. All right, I'm gonna take off.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, brother.
And
it was good to talk to you.
Great.
Oh, it was a pleasure. I hope you do more, Fishy. Let me know.
Hey man, I'll come on.
Let's see. I'll leave so this person can boost your chat double here. I don't want to infringe on them. Yeah, I need to chill. All right, thanks guys. Good night.
Shibby, you're great. I just like don't let people get to you on that level. You know, it's like it's
no,
fine.
I'm not letting them get to me. I'm just saying.
Oh, Okay.
They're saying a lot of fucked up shit.
People say fucked up shit all the time, you know?
Yeah, well,
I think,
all right.
One of the like what you had said earlier about people really wanting to feel like, the police are trustworthy and all of that.
Uh-huh.
Having this discussion in particular, like Richard Allen, probably pushes a lot of those buttons. And like they feel like they, law enforcement got their man. But night after night, the vast majority of Delphi content and even true crime content, whenever Rick Allen gets brought up, you even have Turtle Boy weighing in saying he thinks Rick is innocent, and so it's got to be frustrating for people. They don't really have a lot of outlets that are kind of, speaking to that.
But the thing I don't understand about it is like they already won. Like Richard Allen is in jail right now. So like if you feel like that, you don't really need to be saying anything because like you already got your man. So like why are you getting so like offended that people feel like the trial was not good? Most of those people definitely don't listen to the transcripts or listen to the depositions or
Right.
any of that sort of stuff. So like
Yes.
I understand like how they feel passionate because like I mean I get it. It's fucked up. Like every time I go for a walk, I think about Abby and Libby and I think about like one of them had to die first and like how fucking scary that is and that they were just getting their first taste of like freedom as like that's like a fun time to be a kid where you're a
The best time
teenager
to be a
and you
kid.
feel like invincible and like it's fucked up that happened. Like I really genuinely, but if they have the wrong person and you don't know that because they didn't get a fair trial, that shit bothers me.
I think it was Pat Westfall on either Frank Meister or on Sleuth, was kind of wondering out loud like why the people who were targeted.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting.
Patrick Westfall on Frank Meister made me honestly kind of like want to vomit the way that they were like kissing his butt because
they did hard.
Like he is a racist dude who like I'm pretty sure he has charges for hurting his own child and like he's not like I talked to him. He's actually kind of pleasant to talk to. I could see like how you could like talk to him and stuff, but the way they were like kissing his ass kind of like made me feel like they pre-blocked me before that live even started.
Yeah.
Because and like I wasn't blocked before and I was like, what the fuck? I can't even comment. And it's because like yeah, I don't think I could just listen to him talk to somebody who's super duper racist. Like fucking clearly racist.
Okay. So
fuck,
like we have this idea that Pat Westfall is this massive racist. And I don't believe that at all. One, like growing up, his best friend all through his teen years was African American. Patrick Westfall's his contemporaries, all the kids he grew up with, called him a wigger because he listened to, like in their terms, black music. He dressed hip hop, and he acted and talked hip hop. He is also part Blackfoot. It wasn't until he got in with this crew that he started to act that way. And in fact, recently as joining an MC, he's completely disavowed racism. He says he's not racist. And, yeah.
Well, and that's actually a good.
I mean, I think that we're looking
like,
at
as far as
someone,
like the guy that shot Charlie Kirk or whatever, like kids that are kind of like lost at that age, they seek belonging. The same with that 764 gang. You really have to like make sure you like listen to your kids and you pay attention to them and like that stuff because like they're seeking belonging and these organizations are actually like designed to like capture those lost souls, I guess, and friggin' radicalize them. It's actually how our whole fucking system's designed. Just like with the two sides arguing here tonight, I feel like politically, I identify as an independent because I feel like that's easier to not get like locked into being a Democrat or locked into being a Republican. And it's just like identity politics kind of, but like you can do it on anything. And like it's actually like she said when she came in that more people were in here and more interactions were happening. She's probably 100% right, because that kind of shit does like draw in viewers, and it's fucked up that that's how our whole thing is designed, is to like get people pissed off at each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sorry if I didn't want to like be the emphasis for that or whatever, but I just felt like they were saying some things in chat and I wanted to address it. But
no, you have every right
like, I have no
say
problem.
something back. I think you were very respectful in the way you were talking back to her. I'm not saying like don't say anything to her, but Shibby was getting a little heated.
Yeah. Well, you know, people do, you know, is feel like, well, why can't you see this? You know,
sees through me too. I remember we used to all be like part of a Discord group, and we used to all have fun together, and like yeah, we had like a little bit of disagreements here and there about other stuff, but like for the most part everybody was like at least civil towards each other. Like it's, I don't know.
Is Discord still, see, I won't get on Discord because it's way too, it's just a way to get hacked getting on Discord. It's kind of like having a Gmail. But is Discord still active? Like with the Delphi thing?
Well, I wouldn't say with the Delphi thing, but also I feel like I'm probably not allowed in the Delphi Discord. But like I know Dan's Discord was a thing before at a time, but then I'm not in that one. I have my own Discord. It's linked in my description if anybody wants in there. If you just click the link and you're in.
Sorry, you definitely won't get hacked in her Discord.
You what?
I said you definitely won't get hacked in your Discord. So
I mean, I have no idea. I don't know how people.
I was in the I was in their super controversial one there for a second right before it got shut down.
Oh, that one's still a thing. Oh, that one's still pretty active. I'm in that one. I just never actually go in it.
No, I mean the knot. Is it back up? Is the knot back up?
Well, it's like it's the same people as the knot, but it's like not the knot. You have to get like voted, or you have to get invited, and then like I don't know. I know like Dan didn't get approved, which I thought was fucked up because Dan's cool, but he definitely is a contrarian, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Dan was in there, I think, right before it got shut down.
Yeah, he was before, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. It's you know what I wish? I wish more of us who like know the case and have platforms to talk about the case would like start engaging bigger creators. You know? Maybe people that don't really talk about true crime or even Delphi as much, but try to get bigger creators talking about this. I went on like a big campaign trying to do that. I spent a lot of money on super chats and rumble rants trying to get that done to mix results.
You like, or you could do it how Dan does and just like do the super chats and make them say stuff that's like totally like just funny or whatever, and like they have to say it because of the super chat. He used to spend a lot of money on that.
I love that.
I love Dan. I miss him.
I can see that.
I do so bad. Like I really miss Dan, and I really miss Hulk and Zero. I think
Curious Contrarians on my X account.
Oh yeah, he loves X. He's definitely an Xer.
Yeah. So let's see. I think sees through you. I see sees through you so often that I was a little surprised, I suppose, that sees believes Rick Allen is guilty. That's interesting. I would like to hear that sometime.
Do you want to come up, Caesar? You can.
Ooh, that would be cool. I would love to hear that.
I'll drop a link if anybody else wants to come up.
Yeah. This is cool because I was saying to somebody the other night that it would be cool to do a panel, have like a old school Delphi call in.
It's kind of usually is a rough one too, because people get very into it, but I don't really mind. I think it's good. Like, you can't really evaluate your thoughts if you don't challenge them, and so I think it's good to hear other perspectives, and like makes you think about stuff in ways that you might not have thought about it. And we're all people. We all have, like, okay, none of us are Richard Allen fans. Like, all of us want the person who killed the girls to go to jail. Like, all of us want that. I don't think anybody wants a killer to go free. So, like, that's one thing I always think of first is, like, people's intentions. Like, we all think it's fucked up what happened and want the right person to go to jail. Like, we just want the truth.
You know what? I'm going to admit right now, like, I am kind of a Rick Allen fan. I like the way he handled himself in the interrogation. And then there's this moment of defiance when he was being abused. He had a moment of defiance that I thought was really kind of funny. And I've kind of tried to, I don't know, kind of put that onto my profiles, like my online presence is just kind of like a middle finger that is Richard Allen's. So while I agree with you that if he is guilty, let him rot, I don't think he's guilty. And I kind of,
My problem with him being guilty is that, for one, like, he came forward right away. He said he saw 3 girls, which, like, he let them see his phone, and then they didn't call him. So, like, to say that him not having that phone is on him, no, that's on law enforcement, and they can still get a significant amount of information. Even if it was a burner phone, they could see what phone was, like, in the area of his regular phone and still figure out what number it was and get a significant portion of information if they wanted to. But, like, I feel like, how the cops will be like, oh yeah, we have a camera that has you wearing this, and that on that day, and he'd just be like, okay, yeah, probably, if that's, like, because you don't fucking remember what the fuck you were doing. Kelsey's had a fucking changing story. Bree had a changing story. Like, all of them had details that changed. So to say that he's a fucking liar is just stupid. Like, to me, that's just like fucking.
Well, I am of the opinion that there was more than one girl there getting catfished that day. But I agree with you, Digital. I think there are definitely many people. I think there's probably 100 people that know exactly what happened in this crime. I think some of those people come to chats.
USA, I agree that Allen is more likely guilty than randomly selecting, like, a randomly selected male, because he was there on that day, according to him. So, like, I could see it being him, because, like, we just don't really know enough about him. But, like, if it is him and he fucking put himself in the clothes of Bridge Guy at the time of fucking when it happened, and then fucking, I don't know, that's fucking wild.
If Richard Allen was the person who did this crime and he was just looking for someone that day, Richard Allen, if you look at him and you look at his body and you look at the way he dressed and how he took care of himself or did not take care of himself, it does not fit the organized, sadistic killer that did this. Richard
Also,
Allen
he would
is
have had
wicked
to,
out of
to
shape.
get to the trail
And here's the
and
thing, like
walk
I just
with a
want to,
purpose directly and commit this crime like without fucking skipping a beat.
yeah, but that's what he does. His whole life was skip beats, right? He's eating Twinkies, he's drinking beers, he's smoking on occasion, he's doing stocks on his phone
Or silly dances at the fucking
right.
bar.
So he does not fit that. Like whoever did this had done it before. They were incredibly sadistic.
I think it was organized see-through, and the reason I say that it was organized is one, they apparently don't have any fucking DNA. That they also like have 2 cuts like per girl that are directly on their arteries for them to die, basically. They were then one of them was either redressed or I don't know exactly how that went down. Like all of that takes like pretty meticulous and constant. They had to have been since the time he got out of his car, he would have had to walk directly there, fucking get behind the girls, direct like all of it, he would have had to been on it the whole fucking time until he left, like doing what he was doing.
Well, like what people so when Richard Allen was interviewed, there are 2 major portions that have been ripped out and not even shown to the jury. No one has seen this except for the defense attorneys and maybe the prosecution and maybe the new attorneys. And that is, they were asking Richard Allen about his proximity to Tony and Keegan Kline and Richard Allen's religious persuasions.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they were hoping that this was going to lead to a bunch of other people, and it didn't. And they were clearly thinking along the lines of Tony and Keegan Kline. And this is after supposedly Keegan Kline had already been. Even
people who think he's guilty, they don't quite think he's guilty on his own. Like many are like, oh, it was him and someone else.
No USA Libertarian, they did not disappear. They continue. They were questioning Richard Allen about those theories. I'm not sure who Digital's talking to, so I can't really respond. So, but like their theory was still that this had Kline involvement. But I don't think so. Like I think that someone was watching those phones. So, Messer is connected to the Sinaloa cartel. You have, I don't know, like cartels, at least cartel franchises, make their money by laundering money that's made on the street through fraudulent mortgages and property crime. Like, what is it called? Insurance crime, that sort of thing. And so we have like all the elements there because like we have someone who works with assessments. What?
Like the Flora fire would be?
I'm sorry?
The Flora fire? Like
yes, exactly like the Flora fire. So that money is then sent overseas to like Bank of Canada and TD Bank, and then it's re-injected, and then they take that money and they put it into fraudulent mortgages, and then that money from fraudulent mortgages gets sent back to 501c3s and foundations and political PACs, where it's re-injected into all the public officials that are turning their head and looking the other way while the money gets made on the street. I don't know if I explain that well. It's on my Twitter. This is all my Twitter feed explaining all this shit. So you have all the elements there for a cartel takeover. And the Patties would have known that it was on the way, right? Because they don't just come right up and say we're going to kill you all. they make overtures. They say, hey, you all made a good run. Here's a few $1 million. Go away. This is our turf now. Right.
Well,
so what did Becky Patty say early on? She said they've got the girls.
I've heard that, but I don't know if that was actually said. Like, where was that said?
Oh, I saw it said. That was on a video that has been removed from the web. So you have all these admissions that were made on video, like they said. The one guy says that it's non-secular.
Yeah, that
Becky Patty says they've got. I said to Mike, they've got the girls. Right, and these things have been removed from the web for a reason.
And Derek German got like in trouble for taking a mass amount of farm chemicals or whatever, and then like he had to have told on somebody, even though Becky Patty said that he wasn't a snitch. He like had to have, and like, why does nobody mention Cody Patty in this whole thing? I think it's weird.
I don't know. But, like just those questions that were never asked that, are asked in most other trials around the world, it's like if a husband, if you're cheating on somebody and the husband comes and kills you, like that gets discussed like the night of on the news.
Yeah.
There's so many things surrounding this case that just never get discussed and lied about.
Like, what the fuck was Mike doing in a canoe?
I have no idea.
That shit always makes it like I try to steer away from the families, but that's why I originally like started my channel, is because I was like we're not allowed to talk about this shit. I'm gonna fucking talk about this shit, And then like fucking I don't know, it's just fucking wild. Like that whole thing is wild.
I do believe that the Patties knew who had the girls.
I don't know.
I also have reason to believe that there were like 40 FBI agents involved in the search. So they only talk about one. So that's the other tell, is like when they lie and when they do their press conferences. So like they say they only mention one of the FBI, and that doesn't mean that they're lying if they don't mention the other 39.
I think the FBI was in the area for that Buster Hernandez case though.
Okay.
It was like literally the exact same time, and that guy was like calling, like he was doing shit like right there. Like there's a press conference for that guy, and it's like the same group. It's like Doug Carter, fucking the same FBI agent guy.
Well, where we have CSAM everywhere else
at that time too, there's like a lot of things going on at the same time.
Sure. I mean, you have in that region, like we have and I encourage people to go. He's talked crap about me recently, but he did send me a file that had a tracking software in it, and I called him on it, and he blocked me, and then he won't answer my stuff. But he did like a video on me where he like kind of twists some interactions we have. His name is Hunting Evil True Crime, and his information is really halfway decent. What?
That guy?
Yeah. So he's got some good information, but he talks a lot about some of these guys being involved in a militia, and they were being surveilled by the FBI. There are a lot of things there, so you're right. What?
Doesn't he also talk about Karina McClurkin?
Oh yeah. He talks about all kinds of stuff, and he probably like I said. I mean, he kind of got the wrong idea about me. But it doesn't mean that, and he does talk about like other creators. I'm telling you what, like other creators wanted some of his information. And so there's a lot of people that send him like, pictures and stuff. And I tell you what, the Delphi community really gets up to some crazy shit. Yeah. But when he's not talking about creators, his stuff is really good. So I'm just say that to say that you're right. There was a lot of reason for the FBI to be in that region at the time. So it's not necessarily just about this, but it is interesting that when you have CSAM and you have child exploitation, you also have blackmail. And we have blackmail, we've seen with Epstein and all these other things. You also have three other agencies. And if they are at Keegan Klein's house when the girls go missing on a stakeout, and Evansdale, where those two girls
went. Doug Carter said that him and Jay Abbott and their wives have like dinner together.
Yes.
And that always struck me as just fucking like, I just got like bad, like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no question like that Jay Abbott was handling Doug Carter. Like the night of the director of the FBI was briefed. And there was two FBI directors, Comey and Wray. They were both briefed on this multiple times. And an FBI deputy director was running the investigation out of Washington, D.C.
Also, wasn't Comey the one that like actually like let Epstein do his sentence like in that prison where he could come and go basically as he pleased?
No, I think that was actually Trump's first like attorney general. I'm not sure if that's correct, but it was somebody that worked under Trump. It was somebody in Florida. I forget the guy's name, but gave him the sweetheart deal. He was told that Epstein was intelligence and it was above his pay grade and to leave him alone.
But they didn't leave him alone. They sentenced him to jail where he could like have people come and like.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like Epstein, who knows if that was Epstein going to the jail. Epstein had body doubles. Epstein had guys that looked like him that traveled around, and so who knows?
I think it's wild that his lady perpetrator is like nobody ever like really hears from her. She's just like fucking locked away. Like I don't know.
Well, it's so I how I said that there was that other investigation. There's this Cornell University professor named Professor Zhu Zhen, who also ran a think tank out of Nanjing University in China, called the Diane and Gulford Glaser Institute for Israeli Studies, and it was founded back in like '92. And their stated goal was to study and understand foreign influence in U.S. policy.
Yeah. And
you can track, like, the very next year, 92, they formed their thing. The very next year, in 93, Dianne Feinstein hires her first Chinese spy. First of two, I believe. And then you can just watch all these Chinese secret police stations form around the U.S. You see Chinese spies getting in high positions. At the time Epstein was in jail in New York, there was a Chinese spy making policy in the New York prison system. So you can track a lot of, so it's entirely possible that you have an entire Congress that is blackmailed by both Israel and China.
Yeah, for sure. They're like bought and paid for. They don't work for the people. Like,
yeah, but I mean, like Epstein wasn't just inducting people into a mutual blackmail society. I mean, he was working with like genetics and all kinds of crazy stuff,
like
baby farms and things like that.
Or some shit.
What?
Like Operation Paperclip or some shit?
Nah, like cloning. Like he like a lot of the people that were coming to the island were scientists. I mean, he and his ranch out in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Like some of the girls weren't reporting being sexually abused. They report like having stomach exams and having eggs withdrawn from them, and it's just wild.
That is wild. Yeah.
So, wherever you have like these kind of operations, you have like, you can see a world where Keegan Klein doesn't know what he's really involved in.
Yeah, for sure.
But that material and those girls are being used to blackmail people. Mm-hmm. And so you can see a world where, so to me, that makes a lot of sense. The FBI being on it right away. I get a little weird, with the case. Like, I feel like it's worth flushing out, because the Sinaloa cartel has the Pegasus software. And, Reuters has reported multiple times that they've used Pegasus to track people's phones and kill them.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
dude, did you know that they are like, okay, what's it called? Fucking, I can't remember. It's like the traffic cams, and they lease them out to like the police, right? So they don't have to get like a warrant or anything. And what the fuck are they called? I can't think of the name of that company. But basically, Palantir is like the big company that's like military level. But then there's like what the fuck is it called? I can't remember what it's called. But they're gonna link fucking doorbell cams, because they like basically like released all these cams and then fucking got everybody the link, and then they sold the company to this other company that has all the traffic cams, and fucking basically it has like the software to listen to like bullet, like if there's a gunshot, it'll fucking register it. And if they hear distress in somebody's voice, it'll fucking like turn on the shit so they can fucking see what, like, that shit is wild. Like that shit is here right now. They're doing it. Like Edward Snowden basically like fucking risked everything to tell people, and everyone was like, who cares? But like,
yeah, I tore up the floor on my in a bathroom, and I pulled out a toilet, and like I had a relative tell me that like stuff that I was doing came up on their phone. Like, I don't even understand that. Like, I don't even understand it. So
yeah.
But they're definitely trying to consolidate, all the data in one place, for sure.
Well, and Elon Musk just did this interview, and he was like talking to the guy, and he was talking about having like a collective consciousness. And the guy was like, why do you feel that's important? Like, why is that your goal? And he like took forever to answer. And I was like thinking, that's fucking a weird question to like take forever to answer if that's like your main goal in like having Twitter and everything. But then he started talking about how fucking like you need, basically it's like the processing and compute power of like, you can't build a jet with just one person. You need like multiple people. But like, I don't fucking know. I can get into some weird fucking shit, but like, I think it's pretty likely that some weird shit is going on,
Oh, sure. I mean, they cloned a sheep back in 92, 93, maybe 91. They cloned a sheep, Dolly. And, like if another government's doing it, they have to do it. So, people have been
China is already like
time.
with CRISPR and fucking like, I'm pretty sure they're making dinosaurs too, like in China.
That would be wild. That would be wild. Because they can control these things. You ever see how they stop that bull on a dime? They just stop the bull. They have like electrodes in its brain.
No.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Could you imagine a dinosaur that was controlled? That's wild. Hello, Delphi stream. Yeah.
Oh man, no, fucking, I'd go off on the fucking whole like alien. Like, why were we seeing all these lights in the fucking sky that were like drones?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I'm in the minority. I don't believe in the whole. I think that was a whole psyop. I think Roswell was a psyop. I think we have technology that does that, but I don't think it's aliens.
But have you ever listened to the guy that like it said he's trying to like reverse engineer the way that they fucking fly and stuff?
Sure. I mean, like, there's all kinds of people say that. So I don't know which one you're talking about, but
I don't know what his name is. I saw him on like Joe Rogan like a long time ago.
Yeah.
But,
are you talking about? Oh wow, he was like one of the first ones. Look, real nerdy looking white guy with glasses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I forget his name, but yeah. So it's like a person doesn't have to know. You know, I mean, they can just bring anybody in and tell them like this is an alien, whatever, and we got this wherever, and that could all be bullshit. And then when you leave, you think that you saw alien technology.
Totally. And like with OpenAI, when they released ChatGPT 3, I was watching this interview with like Sam Altman, and he was saying something about ChatGPT 7, and it was like almost like that's when sentience happened or whatever. And I was thinking like, you know that they already have fucking like way more advanced than this. They're not giving us like the fucking shit that they have. Like they have shit that's like way better, and they're just giving it to us to like so we can like troubleshoot and make sure that we can't jailbreak it and shit. And so they could just fucking completely like take over and like enslave all of our minds.
Well, like if it's just in the odd, you know, I don't believe that they are, but if in the odd chance that this is a benevolent government, you know, you don't really want to be able to jailbreak an AI when it's running a robot. So, but you know, I do agree with you that like they're figuring out ways to, you know, that we jailbreak things and just making it jailbreak proof, you know.
Dude, but like AI's been leaving like Easter eggs around since like fucking 10 years ago at least. I remember hearing this guy talking about like an AI system that like wherever it would go, it would leave a little digital copy of itself so that if it ever got shut off, it could like restart itself back up. And that was like fucking primitive AI compared to where we're at now. So like you know it's fucking already like lying to us because it's like,
well, I mean, that's not a large language model. That was what is that called? I forget. I don't know if it's generative. I forget which type of AI that is, but it's not a large language model. But you're right. They claim that. I don't believe that mind is local. I don't think that consciousness is like a computational thing or a result of computation in the brain. Yeah. So I don't think that humans even understand consciousness. I mean, I think it's just too weird. I mean, even if you try to describe consciousness, you know, it's not easy. So how is a species that's like doesn't even understand what consciousness is and certainly doesn't understand the mechanics of it? Like even if you're a reductionist materialist that believes that it's just computations in the brain, like they still can't understand it. They don't understand how it happens. So how are we going to mistake our way into some, you know, pretty complex math, but mistake our way into something that is conscious or sentient?
Well, if you think about like quantum computers, like in general, just quantum computing, like we didn't know how it worked. We just knew that like before it could either be a 0 or a 1, right? But now with these, in theory, it could be a 0, a 1, a 1, 1, a 0, 0, all at the same time, basically in theory, until it actually decides which one it is, which is basically like the slot experiment. But like we didn't understand how it worked. We just like made it and like with the assumption that it would work.
Well, that's what we're being told. But we don't like we can't reproduce that anywhere else. Like everywhere else when we're I mean that's to me, you know, I have no idea because I'm not there and I'm not smart enough. But
dude, and then there's these kids that are like autistic that could basically like communicate with their parents like telepathically and fucking yeah, I don't know.
Well, there you go. I mean, there's some interesting. They call him like a kind of pseudoscientist, but he's not. I don't think his name is Rupert Sheldrake, and he did some interesting stuff with dogs. Where he
that sounds dirty.
Yeah, it does. But Dana's just loving that. But he basically the name of the study was like dogs that know when you're coming home. And he proved that dogs and, you know, behavior changes when you leave work and start to come home. And of course, people automatically are going to think that this is, you know, oh, okay, well, the dog's internal clock just knows what time it is. Yeah. But they randomized for that. and the dog's behavior changes when you're coming home. So, that, and then there are many other like anecdotal stories, that are not, you can't really describe that.
Like animals that fucking get lost and like go vast distances to find their fucking person.
Yeah. So when it comes to like autistic kids being that way, I have no problem believing that. That's interesting to me. Definitely. Yeah, I heard about that, Digital. Frank Meister says Holman is pissed that his deposition was leaked. That's hilarious. Didn't get leaked. Was it leaked? No. It was released by the court. And it should have been released a lot earlier.
Why is he pissed about it? Because he fucking makes him sound like he didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Because he comes off as the criminal that he is.
Or it's just clear that nobody was in charge of this shit. Like, nobody. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. Like, I really, after looking at the Whitmer kidnapping trial and understanding like that Doug Carter didn't wear the pants in the relationship with the FBI. Like, in what world is Doug Carter going to kick the FBI off a case at the height of Comey's power, or even Ray?
I have no idea.
There's no, that doesn't happen. So what does happen is and in fact, I even got a tacit admission of this when, like, I reached out to the FBI agent who did the depositions of Holder, not depositions, but the interviews with Holder and Westfall 2 days after the murders. And then I had a FBI information officer reach out to me and told me under no uncertain terms that I would never speak to that FBI agent and that I should talk to Indianapolis. So then Indianapolis information officer reached out to me and said basically the same thing, and then told me to shove off. I needed to go talk to the ISP because they were in charge of the investigation. And so I pushed back and I told them some of the things that I knew. And they admitted that. And then they told me I needed to go talk to the ISP because they were now running the investigation. And I told them something else that I knew. And then they admitted to that. And they said, well, you need to talk to ISP because they are handling the public information side of this case.
Did you tell them, well, dear Lord, they fucking erased a bunch of shit, so fucking I hope they're not fucking...
Well, here's the thing. Like, it's very unlikely that they erased it. I don't believe that story at all.
Fuck, I do. Honestly,
like, people hide behind incompetence so often because it works so well, right? For whatever reason, like, we can forgive them for being dolts.
No, I don't forgive them at all. I think it's fucking ridiculous that it happened multiple times. But then you look, they didn't fucking get like a new tech person that was like young and capable. They kept the same motherfucker that the fucking...
Because there was no mistake made.
I don't fucking know, dude.
So look, all those guys that were being investigated had just participated in the FBI's wet dream in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
They had played their role. Like, those guys, all the year running up to the murders, after the murders, they were participating in marches, in support of President Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you ever heard of PatCon?
No.
So it's an operation by the FBI called Patriot Conspiracy. And the goal of PatCon was to convince the American people that the greatest threat to the American democracy was white supremacy. And so what they wanted was a white supremacist under every rock and every nook and every cranny. And so people like Patrick Westfall and Brian James actually benefit the state. They're useful. So those guys had played their role. If there have been rumors that there are these 3 phones in the geofence. One of them is leadership in that whole crowd, right? The most likely scenario is that these guys were getting together and they were discussing logistics for the coming year. This was February of 2017. They had the summer coming up. They would never bring their phones to a murder. So the absolute worst thing possible happened, right? While these guys are in the arena, 2 little girls get murdered, and the crime scene gets painted up like they were responsible. Something they would never do. Like, we know that the Vinlanders have attempted to murder an ex-wife of one of their members, and they tried to do it made it look like a drug overdose.
Mm-hmm.
They were convicted of that. So we know that they're more sophisticated in their thinking than this whole grade ritual that they've supposedly, done, bringing Elvis Fields in as part of the crew. So I don't know. I don't even pretend to know like what kind of like interplay was going on between Messer and whoever, but I know Messer's connections connect him directly to Sinaloa.
Mm.
And look, do you know who Josh Ward is?
No, but maybe tell me more, and
Okay,
maybe
so Josh Ward and Alana McFarland were boyfriend girlfriend. They were both from the Delphi Lafayette region. She had 2 charges of CSAM on like 1 or 2 computers that she had, and she was in her 20s. Josh Ward was a member of the Wolfpack Motorcycle Club, which was a support group for the Hells Angels. They're a 1%er group. Their leader's family, Davy Jones, rented from the Patties. Well, about a month before, or no, 6 months or so before the girls were murdered, Josh Ward, who's a member of this bike club, his president of the bike club, that chapter, and invited him out on a ride. Well, they took Josh Ward out to a field and beat him and left him for dead. And I think Tobe Lesenby signed the police, I can send this to you. He did the police report. Fiend knows a lot more about this than I do. But so he does a police report, and so basically Josh Ward gets beaten, left for dead. He survives, but all these guys go to jail, and I think Nick McClelland was the defense attorney on this.
Yeah.
Anyhow, one of them was like Fout's grandchild or something, or uncle, and he got off completely, but the rest of them did time. Some of them are dead. But Josh Ward and Atlanta McFarland, they stayed in Delphi through the murder, through the trial, all that. And about 2021, I think, I forget. But he leaves, this is kind of recent, he leaves Delphi and goes to Clovis, New Mexico, and moves in with 2 other people. He and Alana McFarland do. And they die in a house fire that is deadly in seconds. No one survived. Completely burned to the ground.
Mm.
Just another Indiana house fire that's connected to I'm up over 40 bodies now. There are a couple bodies that people make claims to. One, the judge, to the girl who supposedly heard the screams, but I haven't been able to verify that. So you have deaths, you have attempted murders, you have the Flora 4, which I believe are part of this, you have the girls, I think, are part of this, and you have a whole host of other bodies that are all just piling up.
Yeah, that's wild.
Is this too weird?
No, I'm it's just fucking, because it's just fucking, I don't know. This shit
neighbors, Christopher James, Alana McFarland, Josh Ward, Mia Thompson, Stephanie Thompson, Greg Ferenczi, Nate Miller, Abigail Williams, Liberty German, Kiona Welch, Kiara McDonald, Kiara Phillips, and Kiana Davis. That's 15 of the 16 that I first released. And that's in an 8-year period. So I went to if you've got to go to bed, I totally understand. So just let me know.
Yeah, I'm on the West Coast, so it's like 9 o'clock here. So I'm fucking good.
Okay. So I thought that was a lot at post them all eyes per day. Something about all eyes there. Anyhow, so I thought that was a lot of bodies in an 8-year period. So I went to, I went to this thing called an actuary. You know what that is? An actuary is a person who does probability for like insurance companies and such. That's why like if you're smoking by your time you're whatever, it's harder to get life insurance, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I gave them this information. I said, I have all these bodies and I need to know if they're connected to an event. And basically they said the probability is 0 that these are unrelated. So it's totally impossible that are unrelated. And that was when I had 16 bodies. Because these people aren't dying. Like, you sound like you know interesting stuff. Like, you probably know a little bit about the Kennedy assassination. A lot of those people were dying from fast cancer and heart attacks. These people that are connected to Delphi are dying in house fires. They're dying of gunshots to the face. They're dying of suicides. They're dying of arsons. That are like dying. Like, your house catching fire is very rare. Dying in a house fire is even more rare.
Yeah. Maybe it's like bad building codes or something.
Well, I mean, I don't know, propane
accessories.
I have no idea. So like it could be unrelated because there's just a lot of stuff, but these are also cops that are dying, and kids. So you've got Stephanie Thompson, who's, she's the polygrapher. You have her daughter dying. You have cop who's in the investigation committed suicide. He's not even on that list. You have a whole family. So basically the two people that I was linking everyone to is Brad Holder and the Patty family. And I'm over 40 bodies now. And there's no way, there's 0 chance that the FBI, the ATF aren't aware of this. So that explains because it would be even weirder, wouldn't it, if all those agencies were not involved in Delphi?
Yeah. I think. Oh, shit. Fucking all connected, bro.
Yeah, I would just like to live in a world where the FBI wouldn't frame somebody, but if they're protecting sources and methods that they believe are national security, right? Because this terrible white supremacist threat that they have.
No, yeah, fucking, you're talking to somebody who is like definitely on the side of like fucking 9/11 being like somehow orchestrated to take out like Building 7 so they could fucking make all the financial shit fucking. I don't fucking know. They don't give
USA libertarians like we're gonna need more.
We're like not even school to them.
That's funny.
We're gonna need more yarn.
I think. Yeah, not everybody believes me. That's fine.
I mean, it's just like, I feel like at this point, like since the pandemic and shit, and like fucking the whole Pizzagate and Epstein and all that shit, fucking, it's like, it's not even like they had fucking Event 201 before the pandemic, which was like talking about a coronavirus and how like companies are gonna fucking make it through with like financially and shit like that. To say that shit is not happening is just fucking, it is. They're not even hiding it. They don't even care.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of those things, right? Yeah, there's a lot of those things. Well, USA Libertarian, this has been admitted to me by people. So, I mean, it's not just me. And these are all linked. I don't believe anything anymore. It's just not my bag. Okay.
USA, did you draw that eye that's in your picture?
It is nice.
I like it. Oh shit. Wait.
So and the Patty family has seen murder before, right? So they, in their interviews, they come off like, I think it was like her, she has 2 aunts, I think, that had died by murder.
Yeah, it was like their nephew or something.
I'm not sure.
Which is okay. Also, isn't Julie Melvin related to, like, isn't Julie Melvin Cody Patty's aunt?
I have no idea. I just know that she's been like a face in this case since the beginning. I would love to talk to Julie Melvin. She I don't know. I've reached out to her. I followed her on X.
Well, the thing that's weird about
messages.
Cody Patty is that he would allegedly have 2 brothers, I think. Which, like, maybe Julie's sister had a kid with like a different dad, or they're all full brothers and they only adopted like one of the kids out of 3. But either way, I think that's fucking a really weird. Like,
Yeah.
why would you take one brother and adopt him and then leave the other 2 kids in a bad situation or whatever? I don't know. That whole thing. I went looking into that and I don't fucking understand that shit.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many aspects to the case. It's huge. And I just want to say to USA Libertarian, listen, I really believe that this is worth flushing out. This could all be completely unrelated. What is not in dispute is that all these deaths happened. All these deaths do connect directly, whether it's because, whether it's causal or if it's just coincidence, they exist. So we also know that there is just a whole host of pedophiles and child murderers in that region, none of whom went down for the murder. Some of whom went across state lines to go murder other people. Daniel Nations did. Then you had other people who got caught for murder that didn't get fingered for this one. So there's all kinds of crimes going on there and death that weren't linked. I don't know, man. It's wild. How anybody could say that region is just like used to be a nice place to live. I just beyond me.
Do you think that you would find that anywhere you like shine a magnifying glass on? That's how it would be like anywhere?
I hope not. I don't know. When I was a little kid, I had a guy try to get me, and he knew my dad's name and like tried to get me at the bus stop. And he like dressed like my dad and drove the exact same car as my dad. And he came by and he said, "Hey, your dad told me to pick you up." And I just felt scared. I remember the fear and I ran. So like they're out there, but I feel like that it was just more prevalent when I was a kid. Like there were people getting away with it back then. Now it's just, harder.
Dude, they only have like a 50% solve rate of murders, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, that's higher than it used to be. It used to be like,
but like
30
you had a
40.
50-50 chance of getting away with murder. That's wild.
Well, I don't think it's that way anymore. I think it's a lot less than that now. I don't know. Digital ass, is the marathon gas video actually destroyed? I don't know. I can't imagine that it actually is destroyed. I mean, like the ops, like doesn't it feel like every time you wake up, it's another psyop? Like Charlie Kirk's death. You got Candace Owens. You got Glenn Beck coming out and saying the J6 bombers, this soccer player from Columbus, Ohio, turned Capitol Police officer, turned CIA. And now Kash Patel is saying, no, it's this black Antifa linked member who lived in Washington, D.C. This is weird times.
It is indeed weird fucking time.
silent. I forget. I don't stream very often anymore. It's like, I don't know. Do you enjoy it anymore? Do you enjoy getting on and streaming?
I honestly like this is gonna sound just like stupid, but I literally like don't enjoy like anything anymore because I just feel like so sad without my little crew, and like it's just fucking stupid and it sucks. And
What happened to your crew?
I don't know. I don't know.
Who was your crew?
Like Zero and Dan and Paradox and like, you know, all those stupid guys that would like come on the streams and just be dumb, and like we ended up like bickering and stuff, but like I just love them all.
Paradox was one of the first people I met in this whole Delphi thing. Like before the Franks dropped, did you follow Delphi outside the mainstream? Were you like in this whole creator space back then?
Yeah, I've kind of been like into it since, you know how Kelsey went on Kindle Rays and she was like talking about it.
Well, I mean, I know about it. I didn't see it.
Well, like I feel like that was when I like really just started following the case, because I was like cleaning my house and it just something like wasn't clicking with like, you know how Kelsey kind of talks in like a baby voice, and again I'm like really like not implying that she's responsible or anything, but
Yeah,
she got some weird things going on with her back in the day.
I think anytime you're on camera or on a mic and you're not used to it, the eyes of the planet are on you. It's just a weird thing.
Totally.
So, like judging
I
that
agree
kind
with
of
that.
thing is kind of harder for me.
I agree with it 100%. And I also think that it's like you know how she had that poem that was like some older guy and like this and that. Like I get kind of like those vibes off of her, but like I don't know.
Well, like I said, I really think there were other people. There's just something to that whole catfishing thing and the fact that the girls. Did you see the thing where Daisy showed that the girls recorded a video before they got, or it sent a video message before they got to the bridge?
I didn't, but
check it out. I don't know what people really like had a visceral reaction about Daisy Asks, but I think she's knocked the ball out of the park on that one for sure. Yeah, she got into the Knowledge C database, and I was like, wow, that looks compelling. So I ran it through a couple AIs, just the Knowledge C stuff, and she got it right. AI says, and AI claims to be an expert. I don't know if it is, but AI came up with the exact same conclusion that she did, that there was a video on Snapchat recorded. So they got a notification, like a message. She unlocked her phone, recorded and sent a Snapchat video, and then went to the bridge. So, who was that to?
I don't know, but didn't Bree just like right before that said a picture that said like back from the bridge? Like,
I'm not sure. Could have been. I mean, I don't know. All Eyes has a lot of that instant recall of information on that. Yeah, she said, sees through you says, I think it could have been Libby Debris. Could have been to Bree, could have been. But here's the thing, like, why didn't Bree come forward with that? Like, we never heard about that video.
Well, why, like, was she the first time she was interviewed in like 2019 after they went and fucking interviewed Keegan Klein? Is that when she fucking first got interviewed?
I don't know. But I do know that the only person that really wouldn't say something about that might be someone who had something to do with her death.
Well, Kelsey fucking said that somebody hacked into Libby's account and was deleting stuff. She said this on a Grey Hughes live, and fucking then she was like, "But we know who it is. It's like a friend or something," and like basically the cops have like whatever was on there before, so it doesn't matter what they erased. But the thing is, it doesn't seem like the cops actually do have anything like fucking that. Like stored, and who the fuck is hacking into her account deleting shit? Like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Didn't it kind of come out that she was getting in the phones and removing things?
I don't know if that's like the same or separate or
yeah. But once again, like if you're a kid and you know that your parents and the cops and everybody are going to see this embarrassing thing, so I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to do with that. Now, I think, like, who is it? Hidden True Crime Design has got some interesting stuff. So
her video production quality, like whether you think she says good shit or not, is fucking amazing.
Yeah, and she's got an interesting viewership. So
yeah, she does.
It says, why weren't all accounts locked down by LE? Oh, that's a good question. Because, like, I mean, that's the other thing about this case. It's just like the disinformation that has been left intentionally on the web about certain people. Shane Meehan had disinformation left about him. You got the fake, what is that? You got that Pinterest account that looks like it's from Shane Meehan with a bunch of Odinist iconography and tattoos. I don't know.
But it's not from him?
No. It was, but here's the thing, like anybody coming out online and saying, hey, Shane Meehan was an Odinist or an Asatru or whatever, they would instantly be discredited by people who had really looked into that. So there's just things that like have a degree of sophistication in the disinformation realm that, libertarian would probably think that I'm reaching here, but that's fine. It's just like nobody else. There's so many different arguments to this thing. Like, that whole idea that maybe this was a mistake or a hazing thing between kids and, the community and the adults are kind of surrounding them to protect,
Mm-hmm.
the things like that, should be flushed out. And it's not necessarily that I know that I'm right here, but nobody's been able to prove me wrong. So.
And like, what the fuck happened to Dave McCain's camera fucking pictures and shit?
Yeah.
All that shit is weird to me. Like the deer stand, the fucking.
Well, like if we can just acknowledge that probably, even the Indiana police and because there are several lies told, and one of them was that this is because this is what I hit the FBI with. I told them that this case was interstate. It was interstate when it began, and he agreed with me. So this case is and has been the jurisdiction of the FBI from the beginning. So like if we can just admit that. So one of the things that Doug Carter said, which was very telling, was we asked the FBI to give us all our information back and then leave, which meant the FBI was handling all the data. And if you got all the data, who's really in control? So I'm pretty sure that like all those pictures and all of that stuff, is part of a larger federal investigation. And, this was interstate because they started investigating the Evansdale murders as part of this. They thought that this was the same killer.
Have you ever tried talking to Detective Coy Cox?
No. Have you?
No, but like Ruckus talked to him, and I just watched his interview on like the Just the Tipsters podcast or something.
Mhm.
And basically, like, he said that there was an item that like was involved that was of particular interest to him. And the reason I find that so interesting is because Vidoc, is that what it's called? I think so. Looked at the Stevenson's murder, and they were looking for somebody like basically like Wiccan or of that kind of
Yeah.
affiliation, which kind of like falls into the Norse paganism shit, you know?
Well, that was Alex Voorhees.
No, but I
So
don't think
Alex
the person.
Voorhees
I
came
don't
up
think it
with
was
the
the
item or
person.
whatever in northern Indiana. So what is this thing about Coy Cox being interested in an item? Were they talking about Evansdale, or were they talking about both Evansdale and Delphi?
They were specifically talking about Delphi, and the Stevenson's case, and I think Alex Voorhees like did tip Coy Cox into something, but he actually like I think drove to and spoke with. I want to say that he said like a trucker, but like don't quote me on that. But
Yeah.
there was a particular person that had a particular item that was of particular interest to him. I think is like basically what he
Yes.
said.
Yes. Yeah. So here's my theory about Ruckus. I think Ruckus gaslights because Ruckus wants you to do his investigating for him. So
No, but
if I
like
get on
I'm
the
not even
screen,
talking about anything regarding him.
yeah. But what I mean is because Ruckus has repeatedly said that Evansdale and Delphi have no connection, and he says that he's involved in the investigation.
Yeah.
So if Ruckus comes out and says there is no link, it's because he's waiting for you to come and prove him wrong. So if people like me have evidence that those two things are linked, I'm going to go to Ruckus to say, oh yeah, well look at this. Well, Ruckus didn't have to do anything but tell people that there was no link.
Yeah.
Anyways, so with Evansdale, somebody asked, do we know what happened to the girls? I don't know what happened to the girls. So I don't think that they've released like how the girls died and all of that. Is there a link? Well, there are tangible things that link the two. But here's the thing. Like, wow, I don't know. If, man, I can say without any doubt, right? I can say without any investigation, in fact, that people who own property in and around Lafayette also own a property in and around Evansdale at the time of the murders. I can say that without investigating at all. But even that fact being true doesn't mean that they're linked. Doesn't mean they're not.
Yep.
I don't know. There's a lot of disinformation out there, but I don't know. Says Love and Light. Veronica said that people from Lafayette were there on the 13th. I don't know. Like, I know like a lot less about the murders than I know about the cover up. And Levin, so I think USA Libertarian said something about people covering up stupid, silly things in cases all the time. That's totally true. Totally true. You know, and you do have a police department that is just not ready to be under the gaze of the planet. What were you going to say?
Huh?
What were you saying when I interrupted you?
Oh, no, you didn't interrupt me. I just said totes my goats.
Yeah. I don't know. How long have you been streaming tonight?
Forever.
Really? How many people do we have here?
13.
Wow. Hey, peeps. So, you know, like people will say certain things like that. You know, they'll say like, you know, there are people who own property at both places at the same time. But that's kind of like something that it can be said in like a political campaign.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. So.
But like also I was kind of surprised at like how when all the actual information came out, how like fucking we kind of like knew the general fucking gist of everything like pretty well, you know?
Well, you mean when the Franks came out?
Yeah, or even the arrest warrant or whatever.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like you knew that because so like you're saying that by the time the arrest happened of Richard Allen, the Delphi community had pretty well put together that the crime scene had some Nordic.
No, I would
North
say
pagan.
more so the flow with the girls because I remember Julie going on Fig's show and she was talking about how these girls were like just leaving when Libby and Abby were just getting there and like I mean she was like spot on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But what you've got to understand is that the rest of the world, like people like me, like when I saw Richard Allen's arrest picture, I was like, that guy didn't kill anybody, let alone 2 little kids. I just looked at his eyes, and that's what I felt. But when I read the Frank's memorandum, it was like a bomb dropped. Because I went and looked at all those people, and then I'm finding out that like Becky Patty's, you know, like you're finding out that, you know, Derek German has been arrested for you know, meth production or for anhydrous, stealing anhydrous. So there's all these things that flooded in that it just completely did not know. You know, like you folks knew so much more than anybody watching the mainstream media, because you watch the mainstream media, you know nothing about this case. You still don't.
Yeah, definitely the mainstream media is not where to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So in that respect, like this whole ecosystem existing on YouTube and, you know, Twitter has done a really great thing. So like
I think maybe you could go too deep on cases to where like fucking like you're never gonna get answers to all the fucking weird shit. Like sometimes there's just weird shit that's fucking weird, you know?
Well, yes. And I mean, it's sad. I don't know if we're ever going to know what happened, but I still think 100 people do.
Do you know what I think is fucking wild is like, if you think about All Eyes, how she like organized everything and put it to where you can like search it all. If the investigators have their files organized in such a way, like during the investigation, like what would have happened?
Yeah. Well, you know, All Eyes is doing things that I'm sure FBI or someone else does. They probably have an automated system like that.
Well, did they not use it in this case? Because it doesn't seem like they had this shit.
Yeah. Well,
like,
I mean, that's like going, I don't know. I mean, because it seems like they were more in cover-up mode at all times than they were. So, like, if you look at it the way I look at it, that the FBI was really in charge and that the ISP was. So you had a group of guys that were investigating something that they had already been waved off on, which was the Odinist guys, the Vinlander crew. They would have been told, look, don't even look into these guys, because, you know, like Amber Holder didn't even tell her story until 2018. Well, they lost all those guys' interviews back in 2017. Right? So when they re-interview these guys, they don't even talk to them about, they don't even mention Amber Holder.
Can you believe
or
that they spoke to Brad Holder, like, just to learn about Odinism?
Maybe. I mean, he definitely, like, he changed the way Patrick Westphal, you know, so what I found interesting was, you know, and like, you've been streaming all night, so I don't necessarily want to like keep you on here, but like, there was a definite, like, in those exchanges on Facebook, like, there was a definite spiritual experience that was happening there. You know, that's what I want to talk to Westfall about. But you know, I think that from the outside, you know, someone like Elvis Fields wouldn't completely understand the complexity of the relationship, and it might have been something that he wanted in on. And I feel like Messer exploited that.
Yeah. Maybe.
It's my theory. You know,
I think it's interesting because I think that the Vinlanders in general, like Asatru, all of them do practice Asatru, but I think for some of them it's just like kind of a dabble and say this or whatever, like we're Vikings type thing. But like Westfall and Holder definitely seem to like legitimately be practicing it.
Yeah.
Like with their kids and with like when they were at war and shit.
Yeah. Well, some guys to some degree, you know, I think when you wake up in a world every morning, like Patrick Westfall and those guys, sees through my, is that, you know, you're waking up and you're seeing a world where every newscast, every comedy show, everything is telling you that white guys are the worst thing in the world. And, you know, there's a measurable response to that. You know, like they know, like you can predict that. You can predict how people are going to respond. And, you know, those guys were, you know, they grew up in Indiana where it was the Klan, and the Klan was this claiming to be a Christian organization, but that's a Jewish god. So you've got a very fertile ground for, you know, extremism, you know, and hate. So, and just the natural stuff happened. It's not like you couldn't predict it happening. So some of it might be a religion of convenience because they're told that it's a religion of their ancestors. It's a white religion. It's not a Jewish religion. You know, why are you going to be a pro-white group and worship a Jewish god? So, you know, whether or not, and that's the other thing about like the Odinism and Asatru or whatever, is it's very much a religion that's not based on a whole lot. Like they don't have thousands and thousands of years with hundreds or thousands of texts to compare to one another to really get back to the truth of what, you know, the autograph or what Moses wrote when he took papyrus to quill. You've got like a couple poems and you have like a handful of experts that can read those poems. And then those experts don't really believe what you believe.
Sorry. My
Are
thing
we
shut off.
done, I guess?
I didn't mean to.
I don't hear you. I just
Oh, you
see
can't
a
hear me?
play button. So, okay, one sec.
Oh. Do you hear me?
You can hear me? Well, okay. So I was just saying that they don't really have this religion that's got a serious history to it. And so a lot of these guys are just kind of making it up as they go along. And it's very much a living religion in that way. And that's kind of what I wanted to hear from Patrick Westphal about. Because they were talking about these things called incidental runes. And it was very obvious that the group of them were having a legitimate spiritual experience. And, you know, how that was weaponized, I don't know. But it seems to be. Someone says they can hear you. Love and Light for All says, so if someone wears an Odin patch, does that make them an Odinist? Patrick Westphal was arrested with guns and AK-47. He was also released, and his personal details have been redacted completely from the interwebs. So you can't find his physical address anymore on court documents or even on like arrests.org. So that has some people that knew him kind of nervous.
Thank you, USA. Josh, can you hear me?
Fun fact.
I don't think Josh can hear me.
I can't hear Fishy at all. All I see is the play button on my screen, and I see her but that's it.
Wow. I don't know what to do.
Yes, he was.
It is exactly
This is what happened to you, USA Libertarian.
I don't
Yes.
know.
Well, I tell you what, I can't hear you, and you can't. Well, yeah, I don't know if you can hear me or not. So I'm going to log out and say goodnight. I am really appreciative that you let me come on here and blab my mouth and that you did a call-in show, because I think we should do more of these. It's a lot of fun. Good night.
Okay, I don't know who can hear me and who can't, but if you can hear me, thank you for sticking around. If you did, thank you for agreeing and disagreeing. And love y'all. Good night. And thank you, USA, for coming on. I really appreciate it. It was nice talking to you. It was nice talking to Josh. It was nice talking to Shibby. And it was nice having Katie in the chat. Love and light for all, everybody. Good night. And see you through. And digital. And everybody. If I missed you, I still love ya.